Hello and welcome to the Friday night edition of Poker Night Live. I'm Kara Scott. With me is Nick Wealthall, and tonight we have a very packed show for you, don't we?
It's bursting at the seams.
It is. Yeah. Take us through some of the fabulous features. We'll be bringing them tonight.
Well, we've got Kara and me, and we've got a multi-table tournament with $2,000 added by the site.
Very exciting.
Which is a big deal. And we've got the Poker Player, in association with Poker Player magazine, shootout, which many of you have been enjoying, a free roll which all ends with a chance to play live in the Poker Zone studios.
That's right.
So we're covering that as well. And you also get your chance to play against Kara.
Yes, doing the Beat the Presenter again tonight, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I've been getting a bit of tuition from Mr. Nick Wealthall himself.
All free. All free, just because we sit here. That's why.
Yeah, nothing's free in this life. And I've been looking online and getting a bit of extra tuition from some of the big ones. I've been getting, you know, Doyle Brunson, Amarillo Slim.
Close personal friends of mine, yeah.
Stu Younger.
Yeah. We were watching Stewie, weren't we?
We actually were watching Stewie.
And you were impressed, right?
I was very impressed. I was watching, I was learning, I was reading up on some of the things they'd said. I feel ready.
Feel ready. That's a warning, guys. She's in the zone.
I am. Eye of the Chaffinch. Now, if you want to send in any, I don't know, challenges to my Beat the Presenter role, if you want to send in any questions, any comments, indeed on poker in general, there's a couple of ways you can do that. Send them here to us in the studio. You can text it. Text the word poker first and your question to 84222. Make sure you get that number correct and do put the word poker in first, please. Or you can send us an email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And of course, if you have any other questions about the show in general, take a look at the website. That might just answer it for you, www.pokernightlive.co.uk. And there's a great forum up there as well that you might want to take a look at. Lots of questions answered by our very own viewers and some of the regular players too.
We're expecting a lot of emails tonight, guys. It's Friday night, holiday weekend.
Yes.
I know you're kicking back with a bit of poker, so we want to hear from you. Whatever you're up to, whatever you're doing this weekend, let us know.
That's right. Are you winning? Are you losing? Are you trying to push people onto tilt?
Are you in love?
Yeah, general stuff like that would be grand. That would be grand. Now let's take a look at some of the tables we will be featuring this evening.
This is a game of poker.
Yes, it is. Well spotted.
Thank you. Do you know what? I can pick them out a mile off. This is a $5 sit and go. You pay $5, you sit, you go. A $10 sit and go. Very different to the last table. Now, these are new sit and goes to Poker Night Live. 2,000 chips, 12-minute blind levels. So it's like a mini multi-table tournament, really. It's like playing a final table. And fantastic sit and goes. I haven't actually heard of sit and goes like this on an internet site. They're great.
Actually, I think I was just watching this one before we came on air.
Were you?
I think I was.
Don't give anything away.
I won't, because of obviously, you know, a bit of a delay so that no one can see the cards.
This is a cash game, 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. And here is our multi-table tournament with $2,000 added. Now, that means exactly what it says, guys. Usually in a tournament in the poker world, the prize pool is made up of everybody's entry fees, but occasionally you will get added money. And what that means is it's basically a promotion. The site's promoting itself and the event, and it's added some money. But this is a big deal because it's added $2,000. So it's added, I would guess, I'm not quite sure how many runners there are. Do you know?
115, I believe.
Okay, so they've added almost 200% on top of the buy-ins, which is a big deal. Really massively increases your positive expectations. So a really good one to play in.
There you go. And as I was saying before, one of those sit and goes, I had actually been taking a little peek at it before we came on air, and the way I did that is because through the magic of television, we do this at a bit of a delay because it's a live and interactive show. That means that these games are played in real time by real players for real money as well. So we put them at a slight delay so that they obviously can't be watching at the same time and seeing each other's cards, because that would just be wrong. It'd be ridiculous. It wouldn't be poker.
Apparently that's fine, but for there to be a delay on me working stuff out and saying the right words is unacceptable.
Completely.
Well, you can understand the pressure I'm under, obviously.
No, I can see the pressure in the eyes as we speak. Yes. So hopefully we'll have lots of emails from you tonight.
Yeah, lots of emails. Do you want to do great poker quotes?
Yeah, but I am wary.
Why?
Because I want some good serious poker quotes. In part of my research I've been doing the last few days because, you know, I'm mindful that as a beginner still, relatively new, I want to know more about poker. So I've been looking up different famous players, historical players, what they did, looking at some of the books, articles online, that sort of thing. I was looking at Heads Up Play last night. We'll maybe look at it a bit again tonight. And also looking at some famous quotes. One of my favorites so far, do you want to know what it is?
Cara, you look good tonight. That's what I said when she came in.
That is one of my favorites, yes, bar none. Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
You're making me sound shallow and insipid. Thank you so much. I'm trying to be serious here, and you're lowering the tone.
I'm not. I'm just trying to be nice.
Anyways, I was talking seriously about poker. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is it. I like this. Cards are war in disguise of a sport. And that's Charles Lamb in 1832. Cards are war. I like that.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Good man, Charles. A little bit weak after the flop, but good for a quote. I like that Doyle Brunson one you found. Doyle Brunson.
Oh, yes. Doyle Brunson himself said, luck favors the backbone, not the wishbone. Think about that a bit. Let it sink in.
Good,
That's a good one. I like it.
Fortune favours the brave.
Yes, it's another way of saying that,
That's
only
what he's
his was
saying
better.
there. See how I immediately interpreted it.
Amazing.
We'd like to hear other ones, guys. That'd be great. We'll also accept sayings like there are no good hands, only good situations. Whatever is either funny, useful, entertaining. Something one of your mates says when you play, that's all good. Poker at Poker Night Live.
Yes, absolutely.
UK.
In fact, one of our very own, James Browning, I think it is, who often says, is it Ace King reigns in the land of the unraised pot?
King Queen.
King Queen, pardon me.
It's
King
obviously
Queen.
not that good a saying because it hasn't resonated.
And thanks for pointing that
I'm
out.
just saying. Bless him.
All right,
no, that is his saying. That is his
yes,
saying.
King, and I thought it was King Queen, but that sounded a bit weak. Okay, there you go. Right, let's take a look at the MTT, see who some of the players are for this evening.
You're cross with me now, aren't you?
I am a little cross.
Why don't be cross? You know, it's not my fault. It's James's fault for having a rubbish saying.
Oh,
he needs a better saying.
Oh,
It's not. I love James.
like it. King Queen rules in the land of the unraised pot. I think it's a great saying.
Not if the flop's 4-4-7. It doesn't.
No, but here we go. This is the $10 MTT with the $2,000 added, 115 entrants, and that's 15 tables, obviously. The blinds raise every 12 minutes, and we're looking at 10 places paid here. Top prize, get $945. That's a lot of money.
You do the math. Awesome.
I'm not doing the math. I'm reading it off a list.
Yeah.
Now you're just trying to really suck up and make me feel better.
No,
Not
I'm just
gonna
saying.
work.
What I'm saying is 94 times your investment
Wow.
for first place. That's a huge overlay.
Wow.
And our initial guess, well, not guess, our initial thing was right in that $2,000 added is makes a prize pool of 300 times what people have actually bought in for. So great incentive.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a great one to, yeah. It's going to be a good one to watch as well.
I can hear your mind working. Could have played in this if I hadn't been working.
Is my mind that loud?
Yes,
Really?
well, on that occasion.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that. I like the idea of the longer blind structures, and I like the amount of chips and the fact that there's a bit more play in it and the final table. All of these things appeal to me as a poker player.
Now, what are you talking about now? This, or are you talking about those on-table tournaments that are longer?
Well, both really.
Both,
Just
both
having
good.
that added amount of time.
Yes.
I like.
Yes. El Trev got lucky there with a miracle 10. And he's on a pot. Who can we see that we know? Snap It, we know. Good evening, Ken Snap It. Nash Anubis. Good evening, the Egyptian god of death.
With the head of a jackal.
Head of a jackal. Body of a small sponge cake. one of the stranger gods.
I've seen Ram Chip and How Not To as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm liking El Trev. He can go in our plethora of Mexican-sounding players with El Pig. And unfortunately, we were calling Raw Owl last night Raul.
Really?
Yeah, but we have been told that's not how to...
He's literally Raw Owl.
Raw Owl, and he said not to ask why. Ugly story. Right, through the Matrix, here we go. Let's take a look at another
stranded
table.
in domestic woodland.
And had to eat.
And
a
had to
raw
eat,
owl.
yeah.
I'm sure we'll see him again.
Hard to hunt owl, isn't it? Because obviously their heads can go all the way around, so can't sneak up on them.
No. And they cough up little pellets of bone and undigested food. Interesting fact about owls. There you go.
Ooh.
Right, we got some more of our regular players on this table. We're just going to, in the beginning, show you a few of the tables. Sorry about zipping around so quickly, but just to show you where people are, where the chip stacks are relatively. We've got Hoof-Hearted here on this table, Danger Mouse as well. Early stages, so people are just starting to chip away at each other, shall we say.
Yes. Yeah, this is the part of the tournament where you'll see a whole different range of styles of play. You'll see people trying to play good cards, playing nice and tight. You'll see weak players kind of seeing a lot of hands but not doing very much. And you'll see the sort of overly aggressive maniacs who just want to get either a lot of chips or go out quickly. They don't have round. But you'll see all kinds of styles at the beginning of a tournament. And there are different ways to profit at the beginning of a tournament, definitely. There's no one way to play tournaments. Despite what some may have you believe.
Crazy propaganda, that.
Crazy propaganda, yeah. Don't listen to it.
No. No, you can pretty much play any way you want. It might not be profitable.
No.
There's always that danger. But you're right, in an MTT, there are some people who, they go in, it's a $10 buy-in, plus probably a $1 rake or whatnot. It's a big pot. They're going to try and double their chips up in the early stages and maybe play a little bit crazier than than other players would. And think, well, if I, double up, that gives me a better amount of chips to play in the later stages of the tournament. If I don't and I go out early, well, then I haven't spent 4 hours, playing poker to bubble.
Yes. My attitude is always to not have too much of a premeditated plan, but to sit down and find the best way of making chips, which sounds very simple, but I think people too often only have one style of play and too often try and predetermine what they're going to do. The best way is to see who the players are at your table, how they're playing, sort that out in the first 5 or 6 minutes, and then adopt a style accordingly and be flexible if it changes or if you're wrong or if you move table. If everybody's playing fast and aggressive and loose, then you should probably tighten up and only play good cards.
Right.
If everyone's playing weak poker and they're playing tight and they're not playing very many cards, then you can play more loosely and take advantage of that, and all stages in between. So my advice early on would be to be adaptable. But that's my advice always anyway.
Yes, be flexible.
Be flexible.
And play the table as well.
But very few players are. There are very few players that are. Most players only have one way of playing.
Okay, well, as you're saying, and as Amarillo Slim said as well, poker is a game of people. It's not the hand I hold, it's the people that I play with.
Cool. Have you got one of those for every situation?
Yeah, I'll probably run out soon. That's why I need more of them.
I like the other one you've got there, which is one of the ones that I heard very early on when I was starting to read and learn to play poker when I was a young lad. Which was which everyone will know, which is if you can't spot the sucker at the table after half an hour, it's you. Which I thought was so cool. There's just the idea of this game where everybody was in the know except for the one vulnerable fish that they were preying on.
Unless you are that fish.
Unless you are that
At
fish.
which point it's just humiliating and painful.
Nowadays when you play poker, there's 2 people in the know and 8 fish usually. But
yeah?
Yeah, it's all changed.
It may not be that way entirely when I play Beat the Presenter next hour. We will have to see. But in fact, yes, I will be playing on one of the tables, the TV tables, Beat the Presenter. You're going to want to watch that. I'll be playing for, well, an hour-ish.
And very excitingly, running in conjunction with Beat the Presenter, because obviously when Kara's playing, she can't commentate, so I do the commentary, and then we do the analysis. So that hour when Kara's playing, I'm commentating, we'll be running Nick's Poker Corner, which is bringing a little bit... Well, you say that, Kara. It is jazzy, yes, it's upbeat, but it's also an opportunity to get really under the skin of the game, and... spend a little quality time with me. So that's at 11 o'clock. Get a cocoa.
Yeah, curl up,
or maybe a little bit of lager, and join me for an hour of chat.
Nick's Poker Corner.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
I like it.
I'm excited about it. A lot of spin-off opportunities, caps, T-shirts, lunch boxes.
Good luck with that. Right, let's go take a look at our newly structured $10 sit and go, because I'm quite curious to see how this works.
Well, this is, exciting both in terms of the show and as a player, because it's a one-table tournament, but it has the structure of a multi-table tournament in that it's got long blind levels, 12-minute blind levels, and as you said, 2,000 chips, which is real room for manoeuvre. That's 100 times the big blind to start off with, which is a serious, serious amount of chippage.
Isn't it, though?
And it's great. And if you are a better player than the players you're playing in, you have a very good expectation in this game. You will probably have a reasonably low variance.
Okay.
In that it should be profitable for you. Yeah, great stuff, I think. Because the other sit-and-go tournaments that we show are exciting because they're fast, but they have a higher, higher variance factor.
Do you think controversial. Is it a bit more luck if it's a faster structure?
Well,
you're forced to play maybe more hands you wouldn't normally play?
I like the word variance.
Okay, pardon me.
I
won't be
the
saying
word
luck. Okay.
We can use luck for want of a better word, which is variance. What it means is because the blinds go up quickly, it means that the cards that you get in a given hand, because the blinds become big, are going to have much more relevance than over a long structure where how you play the cards you get becomes more important.
Right.
Even with the short structures, and there are several players we know like Johan Haren and Hoofy and others, good players will still make money in the long run over bad players.
Right.
It's just that in one of those tournaments, yes, there is a higher factor than in one of these longer structured deals.
Okay, and the way this works again, so it's 12-minute blind levels. And it's usually every 10 hands, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh, so that's quite a bit longer. Well, I suppose depending on the hands, but...
Unless there's somebody really slow. No, it is, it is quite a difference. I guess you're probably looking at... It varies an awful lot, but let's say, as a random figure, you're looking at 80 or 90 hands per hour online.
Right.
So 12 minutes is 5 of that, so maybe a fifth of that. So you're maybe looking at between 15 and 20 hands as opposed to 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's some sloppy maths, but people at home will get the idea. It's a significant improvement.
Good. Okay.
I would say.
Yeah, I like the idea of that. Well, we got some of our regular players on here again, and in fact, one of our new players, DVN1, who was really hoping that he would have a chance to get onto a TV table because he does want to know what you think of his play. He's a new player and he's trying to get better.
Welcome, DVN1.
Yeah.
I'll be gentle with you.
do be gentle with him. All right, so let's see some of his play.
I mean, kind of, if I could liken my mood, Kara, to a Friday night. Sometimes on a Friday night I'm excitable, I'm going to go out, I'm going to start drinking at 6, I'm going to end up at a rave, I'm going to be stuck in the taxi home. This Friday night, it's more of a stay in, snuggle with a loved one, or duvet, ice cream, a DVD.
Yeah.
Perhaps some continental pornography later on.
Wow.
It's more of that kind of a night.
Wow.
No, not the cheap stuff, the arty stuff.
That makes it all right then.
It's very different, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
So you see what I'm saying? I'm more of a kind of... I see this Friday night as more of a snuggly, kind of inclusive, everyone's welcome, let's not be nasty to anyone.
Good, I like that. Let's be honest. I'm talking about you in this, obviously, because I'm not going to be commentating.
Well, you are.
Be honest.
Yeah.
But do be gentle with some of the new players, maybe.
Sure. Honest and gentle.
Yeah. Right, 6 king on the button. Nobody's raised so far, although probably as Bridinos.
Honest and what was the other one?
What?
Honest and what?
Honest and gentle.
Gentle.
Oh, well done. Nice lay down, DVN1. See? Like that.
Straight away. Well, he's ahead of the game. He's up to 2,400 chips. Everyone's starting with 2,000 even. Ace Queen for Aunt Sally, and she makes a big raise, 4 times the big blind. hands come and they go, don't they? But I'm having a particularly unpleasant time with ace queen at the moment.
Really? Not your favourite, huh?
It's been harsh for me, Cara, I'll be honest.
Difficult to play. Looks nice. Don't hit the flop.
Yeah, I think.
Let it go.
Yeah, I think you've just summed up how to play it. Nice. I think it's difficult to play.
Wow, get me giving you all the obviously not advice because you didn't need advice, but still being on the nose.
Speaking the word.
Speaking the word of poker. Hallelujah.
I've just had one of those runs where I've failed to hit a flop with ace queen for about 200 years now. Yeah. But the key thing is, it shouldn't affect how you play it next time you get it. That's the key thing.
Right.
And it won't affect me. Well, DVN1 should be done with this now, and he is.
Oh, well done. Phew.
Called a raise with a small pocket pair there.
Mm-hmm.
He probably doesn't want to do that too often.
Okay.
Miss Fotovova, regular contributor to the show. I hope you're emailing, by the way, guys. That's why we're here, to get your emails, help you poker, have a bit of fun. Just reminding you of some of the things you could email about.
Yeah, how is it going? Sorry, is that my cue now?
No, not
How's
really.
it going in the MTT? Miss V is is in the MTT at the moment.
Oh,
Actually,
cool.
I think quite a few of our regular players are. So how's that going for you? How do you feel it's going? Maybe you've got a favourite poker quote that inspires you.
Yes.
Or perhaps there's just a little bit of advice on how to play a really good heads-up game. Because seriously, people,
you still want advice?
I asked for advice yesterday and I just didn't get it from almost anyone. I got like 2 people. I got Gam, 241 emailed in, which was lovely, and Stanters did. I don't think anyone else did. So there you go. Right, 8s against 10s.
Yeah, DVN1's overplaying. I mean, he made a move.
Ouch.
To be fair to him, he made a move to try and win the hand, and it didn't work, and then he shut down. So there's nothing that much wrong with that.
Uh-oh, he's got King 10.
Now, well, you better explain the significance of that for people who weren't.
Well, right. I was in middle position yesterday. There were 7 players left on the table.
Yeah.
The blinds were 8160.
Yeah.
I had, I think, just under 800 chips left. So I had 5 times the big blind. And I went all in with King 10. Came up against Queens and lost. And I'm feeling a bit ouch about that. Feels like it was definitely the wrong thing to do.
Well, you know, we've discussed this 800 times today, Cara, and the conclusion is that it wasn't the wrong thing to do. And I'm extremely disappointed with anyone who was watching the show or your tournament and thought it was the wrong thing to do.
I don't know. It seemed pretty compelling at the time.
It's just an obviously correct thing to do. It is, I'm sorry.
Well, good. Hopefully
I'm
people will
annoyed about it.
email
Well, they can email
that.
in, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk and take me to task. They will lose. The simple fact of the matter is, if you've got 5 times the big blind in any tournament, then you need to be pushing in. You don't want the blinds to come through you again. You know, I've talked about this endlessly on the show. What's your plan? If you're just going to sit there, you're going to get to the point where your stack is so small that even if you double up when you push in, when you finally get that good hand, you're still not going to be competitive. Your situation is not going to have improved. As we see Gan hit the flop. Nice hand to have on the button. It's always good when you have a hand on the button, because when you raise, people think you're just stealing the blinds and you haven't really got a hand.
Yeah.
And that's the situation he's in now. Yisbrid Yanos doesn't believe he's got a hand, but we can all see that he has. The point is, you can't let the blinds come through you again when you've got 5 times the big blind, because after they've gone through you again, you'll have 3.5 times the big blind, which is nothing. And that's not even allowing for the fact that the blinds will go up again. Right? So you do not want to put yourself in that position. The point is, Cara, that if you'd have made that raise and everybody had followed you taking up the blinds, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I guess, yeah.
We wouldn't be talking about whether it was a good or bad move or not, because clearly, you know, it would have been a good move.
I just don't want to do the wrong thing again. That's the whole point. If I did make a mistake
right,
there,
but I'm
I need to know.
telling you, in forceful terms.
My goodness.
You see what's happened to my voice?
Forceful.
It was, you know, cosy evening with a DVD 10 minutes ago. It's now go out and beat up a stranger. it wasn't the wrong thing to do. You can't let the blinds come through in that situation. And everybody, 80% of players do let the blinds go through in that situation. And I tell you, they are wrong. It's not winning poker. You need to find something to pick up the blinds with. You're in a situation where you're in middle position, 2 or 3 people have passed you, right? And you have got a hand which, if you're called, gives you a chance to win the hand. The bottom line is, with the 4 players behind you, or 3 players behind you, whatever it was, statistically, you are very unlikely for one of them to have a better hand than you.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Okay.
And anybody that said that that was a bad move doesn't understand what we're trying to achieve when we play tournament poker.
Okay, well, I feel better about that. Can I ask you another question?
No, that's it.
Gan 241 just had a pair of aces, put in a 1,700 chip raise, knocked everyone off. Skitsy now has kings and has put in a 240 raise. Comparatively,
Well, I think they're both massively over-raising.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why they're doing that. Perhaps they could tell me. I'll tell you what, the duvet's come off.
it has,
That's
hasn't
not-
it? You're no longer
I'm not.
cozy, comfy Nick's corner.
Well, people have
The knives
had
have come
a
out.
go at you, Kara, and
Well,
I'm
no, that's not
protective.
really.
Well, they said you were wrong and you were right.
Well,
And also, I don't mean to think that you did something wrong and then change the way you're playing.
you know what? That's the only thing I'm worried about. I can take the heat. Trust me, that's fine. If I'm playing rubbish, I just want to play better. So I need to know how to improve. This is what I'm saying. I don't
Well-
need glad handing and people telling me I'm doing fine when I'm not. What I want to do is
No,
play
I'm
better.
Not going that far. I'm just saying, on that occasion,
Okay.
I think you did the right thing. And I actually think that if somebody passes in that situation, they're doing the wrong thing.
Okay.
And if they limp, that's the worst of all 3.
Right. Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to limp. I know better than that.
So
Lots
yeah.
of big races at this table.
Yeah, I don't really understand why. Gan has emailed us before. Perhaps he could email again and tell me why he keeps raising so much.
I think he was trying to bluff, actually, thinking he might get a call. This is what he says. In real time, that's Gan's answer.
Right, well, he's supposed to email the show, isn't he? Not tell
Okay,
us in the
sorry.
chat box.
Okay.
That's circumventing the process. I don't want you to be allowing that. Look at this. Just, oh, well, the blinds have gone up. Sorry, excuse me. Makes more sense.
You really have thrown the duvet off.
I'm all cross now because of that hand you told me about. I just, I don't understand what... I do understand. People don't want to put their tournament life in
on the
jeopardy.
line. Yeah, absolutely.
But the point is, your tournament life is in jeopardy anyway, boys and girls. That's the situation when you sit down and play a tournament. Your tournament life is in jeopardy. You are going to go out with something unless you win the tournament, right?
That's right, because cards are war in
Cards
disguise
are
of
war.
sport.
Kicking the ass of cards. Kicking cards bottom.
Thank you, Charles Lamb.
Old Lammy there. Oh, he was a 1. Had a massive wig. We all did back then. The point is this. If you're sitting there with 5 times the big blind, I want everyone to listen up at home if you're going to play in a tournament ever in your life. Stop what you're doing.
Listen.
Listen up. If you're sitting there in a tournament with 5 times the big blind, actually 7 times the big blind or less, you are at crisis point, right? And people don't realise this. You're not at a point where you can wait for a hand. That time is gone. That option is no longer open to you. Waiting for a hand is no longer your plan. Your plan must be to pick up the chips or put yourself in a position to double your stack, one of those 2 things. So you're looking for a situation where you think is favourable, where you can pick up those blinds, basically. There are other types of steal, which I won't go into now because it gets too long-winded, but you need to look for opportunities. You can't afford to wait for... A pair comes along once every 16 deals, right?
Yeah.
And that's any pair. So if you're sitting there waiting for a big pair, 10s, jacks, queens, king, aces, it's not going to happen before you run out of chips. That's the bottom line, you know? So you need to find an opportunity, and you need to do it sooner than you think. You should be moving when you've got 7, 8 times the big blind. And the reason you should be moving then is twofold. One is that if you win that hand, you're then seriously... If you double through with that amount of chips when you're called, you're seriously competitive. But the bigger reason is, when you put in a raise... if you get down to 3 times the big blind, yeah, when you have a piece of, I'm so angry, I've pushed my earpiece out. That's how cross I am.
He's so cross.
I'm so cross. if you get down to 3 times the big blind and you put all your chips in, it doesn't frighten the big stacks.
Yeah.
It's too small of an amount. So they can afford to call with lesser hands and bust you.
Yeah,
Or to try and bust you, which is not what you want. The other problem is that if you get down to crisis level chips, 2 or 3 times the big blind, if you're just sitting there waiting for a big hand, if you go in and then you win that hand and you double up, you've then got 4 or 5 times the big blind.
Still at crisis.
Still at crisis.
Okay.
So what have you achieved? Got to move sooner, boys and girls. You've got to. And what Kara did last night was good play. Pure and simple. Okay, well, while we go back to the game, let me ask you, does it make a difference, though? Because there were probably 3 other players that were comparatively stacked. I mean, we all 4 of us, had around that same amount of chips. Okay, so explain to me how that would make a difference.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I should have waited for one of them to go out. I went out 7th. It just seemed like, and this is some of the feedback that I got, was that because there were other players with the same amount of chips, I wasn't in such a crisis point. I really shouldn't have.
I'm sorry, that's absolute nonsense. You basically, if you sit around and wait, you're deciding whether you're going to come out 7th or 5th.
Okay.
If it becomes completely different if you're 4th or something, and they pay down to 3rd, then we can start thinking about whether you should wait. Right. Okay, then, or if you're at final table and there's a big difference in prize money between 2nd and 3rd.
But it was more about my ego at that point than it was about anything else.
But you've got to dispense with that.
Okay.
You've got to dispense with that. I mean, that's not, I mean, it's different for you because you're playing on TV and everybody's watching, and, so of course it's difficult to go out in 8th or 7th. But remember, the golden rule, everybody, is not whether you win or lose at poker, but did you make good decisions? Because if you make good decisions, you will win more than you lose. Money will come to you. Women, cars. If you're a woman, men.
Cars.
Cars. You'll still get cars. But if you make good decisions at the poker table, money and chips will come to you. It will just happen by magic. It's all you have to do. As I saw a brilliant, as we're doing quotes tonight, if you guys want to, poker at Poker Night Live.co.uk. As we're doing quotes tonight, I saw a brilliant quote from Men the Master Nguyen, who's one of the better players in the world. He actually finished, I think, 6th. No relation, actually. They're both from Vietnam, though. Oh, okay. This is Men, and he finished 6th in the Bellagio World Poker Tour Championship last week. But he's had many, many wins. And he said, it's the most amazing life in the world. People give me thousands of dollars just for saying raise, call or fold. And it's true. All you have to do is make those decisions correctly and good stuff will come to you. But if you sit there and you go, King 10, I shouldn't have gone out with King 10, there were a pair of queens behind me, you will never understand how to win at poker. Never. Because you're not analysing the decision, you're analysing what happened.
The result, yeah.
Because if that person that had been dealt queens and been dealt 7-4, which they've got just as much chance of doing, right? Then you wouldn't even remember the hand.
10. King 10. Look at that. Scotty's got King 10.
The thing that Casper and I over the last few months have been trying to get into people watching the show is it is not about the cards. Right. The cards are your start point, right? Yeah. That's where we learn from.
Part of the game, not the whole game.
Part of the game, but it's not the whole game. If it was the whole game, we could just all sit around and deal out cards to each other, and whoever gets the best cards at the end of the night gets £50.
How boring.
It's not a game, is it? It's silly.
It's certainly not war.
It's not war.
No.
I'm going to calm down now, bust a gasket. Scotty's got a straight look. If only that had happened to you last night with your King 10.
I wish. No, I don't care, like I said, about the criticism. I just want to get better at poker. That's the thing. I'm very conscious that I need to get better.
You've fallen into one of the traps with poker, which is that people are always ready to offer an opinion. It's very hard to tell the right opinion from the wrong opinion. And what I'm saying is, if the hand is as you have told me it was, then the people that are criticising you are giving you bad advice. And if you're watching, if you're one of those people, please email in. I would love.
Did I misread it? Seriously, did I misread the hand? Because I'd like to
verbally.
Maybe I have misread the hand and told you it was. But I'm pretty sure that's how it was.
It sounds like it's burned into your brain. So
yeah.
So while I've been banging on, you've been watching poker. And these guys are still going in this one-table tournament. Ace-9 for Aunt Sally, and she figures nobody's got any of this. It's a good flop to bluff at, because if the other players don't have a 10, and that's extremely strong play by Buffy Be Good. I like that move, Buffy Be Good. Like it a lot, my friend. Buffy Be Good there is thinking on a secondary level. This is really, really good hand, Kara.
Okay.
Basically, Aunt Sally's bet, and Buffy Be Good sitting there and thinking, if Aunt Sally had a 10, she wouldn't bet.
Ah.
Therefore, it's an opportunity for me to bluff by representing the 10.
Right.
That's seriously good poker from Buffy. Well played.
Nice.
Well played. Oh, I thought I was going to have a cosy night, but it's gone.
It's gone
very
so
different, isn't it? I'm now all wound up. I'm ready. I'm ready for 4 cans of Stella Artois and a fight.
Oh, come on, the poker yobs.
It's not impressive, is it?
Oh, it's funny.
My favourite poker saying: 4 pints of Stella Artois and a fight. It's classic, isn't it? I think it was first said by Johnny Chan back in the 80s.
Ah, that great gentleman of poker.
Yes. Oh, we got a tournament jump there. We'll try and fix that. My stars.
Ah.
It's like somebody skipping on 4 chapters on a DVD of a film you've never seen, isn't it?
What's
He's
going
dead. Ah.
You can't go back from that.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, but nobody did die, just so that everyone at home is quite clear
that
on
we
that.
know of.
It's not killer poker.
Somebody could have died.
It's not poker to the death here.
I'm
not
up for it.
deathmatch poker live.
I'm up for it. Cards are war, Kara.
Cards are war.
Cards are war.
Right, and speaking of war, and you've been very clear about your position on the King 10
I've taken a
debate.
position.
And I actually have started to wonder if I just told you it wrong, because I thought I did get quite a bit of stick for it last night, and so maybe I've just told you it in the wrong situation. But apparently I think I have got it right here, and there's been an email from Hoofy, and thank you so much, Hoofy, for emailing in. I really do appreciate it, because as a very new player, I need the help, so I appreciate it. Hoofy says, with regard to King 10, we discussed this move last night in the chat box, and several of us reckoned you were definitely correct, and were quite surprised at the criticism of the move. Yeah, so was I, especially when I could hear everyone as well in the gallery and all the producers and whatnot laughing at me. Ouch.
So, I've got to be honest, Kara, some of the people in the gallery can't spell poker. They struggle.
There's going to be, a problem with the feed. Ooh, the sound is gone. There we go. Okay, he says, if you'd called with King 10, it would have been different, but there is no doubt in my mind you were correct in what you did. That's nice to know. He says, look at how many times 6 hands are dealt tonight, and King 10 would beat any of them. Moreover, that move will get some of the hands that are beating you to fold.
Absolutely, that's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
That is an excellent point, Hoofy.
And I did go all in.
That is actually a key point.
Yeah.
That's why you need to move. And he's actually a really good way of distilling what I'm saying, which is, say somebody's sitting behind Kara with, well, let's take a simple example, King Jack. Let's say they're sitting to Kara's left with King Jack, right? And Kara's got King 10. If Kara pushes in with 2 or 3 times a big blind, so say she's weighted and now she has to play King 10, somebody is so much more likely to play with King Jack against 2 or 3 times the big blind than they are against 5 or 6 times the big blind. I hope you can see this. The other thing is, if she only calls, again, they're so much likely to enter the pot. They may even raise and push her off the hand. But with moving all in for 5 or 6 times the big blind, put yourself in that position of having King Jack and facing that bet. What would you do? I wouldn't call all in with King Jack. I would muck it. So suddenly what Kara's done with her play is turn a potential loser into a potential winner. That's why it's good play. That's why it's vital. And Hoofy's nailed why, I think.
Okay. And he does go on to say, it only looks bad because you ran into someone with a genuine hand.
Exactly.
And that's fair enough, I suppose. So a couple of days back, I raised all in from the cutoff with ace-queen. The button had queen-queen, and the big blind had aces. But my move was still undoubtedly the correct one, and so was yours. You know what, Hoofy? I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's not, and again,
she'll
I'm saying...
She'll listen to you, Hoofy. She won't listen to me.
No, exactly. No, I appreciate that. Not because I want to hear that I did the right thing. I just want to know if it was wrong, so I won't do it again. If it was right, so I'll play that way again. I just need to know the principle so that I continue to get better. That's my thoughts on the matter.
Totally. And it also goes down to the root of what we've been saying in this show for lots of months, which is, please, guys, please try and understand that becoming better at poker is about understanding whether or not you made the right decision, not whether or not you won or lost the hand or the tournament. That's what it's about. Because the decisions that will bother you are the decisions that mean you've gone out of the tournament. That's what will bother you and keep you awake at night. But it doesn't mean that it was the wrong thing to do. Hoofy's absolutely right. And guys, if you're listening and you were, because several people were arguing the opposite, right? They must have been. Love to hear from you tonight, poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. Because, you know, we've had this side of the view. I want to know what the alternative viewpoint is, because I don't think there is one. There you go.
Challenging words. Okay, well, while you're thinking about that at home, formulating your reply, let's take a look at a heads-up tournament. I love this. This is a new thing for us here on Poker Night Live, so let's take a look. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
Skinner and Loomis.
Both of which I think we've seen on the show before.
Oh, yes.
So here's our heads-up tournament, in which, obviously, there are only 2 players. That's what heads-up means if you're new to poker. And they're still playing No Limit Hold'em. So the thing about heads-up matches is they can be over in the blink of an eye.
Right.
It could run for quite a while. They have plenty of chips in relation to the blinds. But because there's only 2 players, if both those players happen to get a good hand, and they can put all their chips in, and it can be over. So an interesting one to watch, because drama lies around every corner.
Like a panther waiting to attack.
Like a coiled panther.
It's an interesting mental image, that.
Yeah, they can get themselves... I don't know if you know this, but the average male panda weighs... Not relevant, is it? You're more interested in panthers. The average male panther weighs 420 pounds.
Yeah.
And it can coil itself into a ball the size of a family melon.
Really?
Yeah. Gazelle's walking along there, and it thinks that there's like a small black rock. Uncoils, takes it down.
A panda? Pandas don't eat.
No, it's
gazelles.
panther. I keep saying panda, but obviously I mean
Sorry.
panther.
Sorry.
That's the coiling mechanism of the black
Interesting.
panther.
I like it.
Never been caught on film.
A myth, some might say.
Never been caught on film, Karen.
Never been documented in any way.
There's poker going, and we have to get back to that. Skinner has 6-4, no hand, and unfortunately for him, Loomis has a very big hand, heads up, top pair. So heads up, bit of a mystery for some.
Oh, he was limping in there with a bet of 40, hoping to pull Skinner into the pot, wasn't he? Didn't work. Was it a bit too obviously trying to trap him?
I don't think there's much more than that in the pot. So
Okay.
it's just one of those.
suppose
It's just one of those.
bet, yeah.
One of those things which happens a lot heads up, which is one player will have a hand, the other player won't have anything. Now this is interesting because Loomis has got top pair and Skinner's got the straight draw.
This could be quite interesting.
Now Skinner's got a choice as to whether he wants to pay to draw, and he does, which is not necessarily the best way to go.
I wonder what Loomis put Skinner on.
Loomis will be reasonably confident he's got the best hand. If you've got top pair on the flop in a heads-up game, you should usually be quite confident you've got the best hand.
Okay. Even with the king that came down?
Yeah, I mean, really, the thing about heads-up is, and you'll see the more heads-up you watch and play, very, very often the case that neither player has anything. It's 2-1 to hit the flop with unpaired cards. So it's pretty common that neither player even has a pair. Now, and then you get a situation like this where both of them have a hand. Skinner's now got a pair and a flush draw. Loomis has got 3 tens.
Oh, boy.
Oh, now Skinner is toast. That's the end of the heads-up match. I guarantee it. You have received my guarantee. It's a big full house versus a smaller full house.
Oh, my goodness.
It's all over, Cara.
It's all over. They think it's all over. Well, it is now.
And sadly, we didn't learn too much about heads-up, because that's one of those situations where the cards and the chips played themselves. Both of the players have got full houses.
Yeah.
House. And so the money's going in. We'll learn more about heads-up later.
Oh, shall we? I
Yeah,
think
we
it's a great
shall.
idea. At the
It is.
moment, let's take a look at some emails. Okay, here's one from Kev, aka Skin Up. Nice. Hi guys, my favorite poker saying, which I believe originates in Vegas, is people who chase those straights and flushes arrive on planes and leave on buses. A
That's
salutary
brilliant.
lesson to us all. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it because I've never heard it.
Oh no, it's good. I like that.
Yeah.
They arrive on planes and leave on buses.
Yeah, because they lose money.
Oh, is that?
No, yeah, because if you think about it,
yeah.
planes are more expensive, buses are
See,
cheaper.
you know, I hadn't thought of it that way, but now that you say it, it makes sense.
I like that. It's good. Good phrase or saying. So this quotes thing's starting to get a bit of momentum.
A little bit of
momentum
there.
This could build into something massive, guys.
Oh, it could. Here's an email from Andy. Andy says, oh, and you'll like this one. Hi, Kara and the oh great poker guru, a.k.a. Nick. See, you've taken the advice about putting the nice things into the salutation, and that's why we read your emails.
He's
There you
stating
go.
facts, yeah.
Yep, stating facts. He says, I've got a question regarding loot, no-limit cash games. Let's say you have a small pocket pair in the big blind and you have 5 limpers in front of you. My normal play would be to just check and see a free flop. But isn't it a better strategy to make a minimum raise, which probably will be called by the limpers to get more money in the pot when you hit your set? What are your views on this?
Well, Andy, it costs you more money before you've hit your set. So I'm not quite sure what the benefit would be. I mean, sorry, I'm just thinking about it because I haven't heard that one before. The problem is that you're putting money into the pot. You're putting money into the pot out of position because you're in the blinds, which I'm never a fan of. And you're also putting money into the pot with a small pair, which most of the time is going to stay a small pair and not improve. I have that idea of putting more money into the pot when you've got a drawing hand is not completely without merit. For example, in limit hold'em games, Slansky and Malmuth say that if you've got a drawing hand like, say, Jack 10 suited or 10 9 suited, and you're a late position and there's lots of limpers, then it makes sense to raise because you're representing a strong hand, and also you are making a bigger pot so that you've got better pot odds to hit your straights and flushes because they'll call. So there's that. But that's for genuine drawing hands. I'm not sure a small pair is because it still only hits a set once every 8.5 times. And also the key thing is you're putting in money there out of position, which I don't like. I personally would just check and see the flop. And if these guys are weak players, if they're loose players, then they'll pay you off anyway, mate. They'll give you the money after the flop when you hit, so you don't need to build the pot. That would be my sort of final thought on it, to be honest.
Okay, well, we've got one more email in defense of the King 10, so I'm going to read that out for you. This is from Sidey UK. It's nice to get your email, Sidey UK. Thanks very much. It says, evening, guys. With regard to Kara's hand, I found myself in the same position in an earlier game today. I had 2-2, hit 2 pair on the flop, and jumped all in. A straight beat me, but what the heck. If anyone disagrees with my play or cares, then heads up on the TV tables. Ooh, a challenge there. Right. So we had 2-2, and hit the pair on the flop. Well, there you go. Sidey UK, he says he's playing in defense for Kara and the short stacks around the world.
Come on.
So they do agree with your play, Kara, and regards. There you go.
I think this is the nub of this issue, which is that do you regard Kara's situation as being a short stack or not? I think that's why. I think people that criticise it will be thinking that you still should be looking for a good hand.
Yeah.
Whereas what I'm saying is you're short stack long before most beginners think you are.
Right.
That's the difference. And, you know, if you do listen to any other boys, I hope you don't. But if you do, they've probably told you as well that when you're 5 times the big blind, you are short stacked.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, guys. It's whether you're short stacked or not, and I think she was.
Okay, it's one of those things that's now burned into my brain. Short stacked, push all in, that sort of thing. Hopefully have a good hand to do it with as well. Giving away no more of my strategy, because after the break,
you're going to play.
Beat the presenter. I will be playing on the TV table, so make sure.
And it's Nick's Poker Corner. Don't
go
anywhere.
Away. Hello and welcome back to Poker Night Live. It's Friday night here. We've got all kinds of new features for you. of the very best kind. One that we're going to be highlighting this hour while I am playing, indeed, on Beat the Presenter.
Playing on Be the Presenter.
Yes. You won't want to miss this. In the next hour, after this one, we will be showing it back and you can ridicule my play mercilessly.
Now, do you have more confidence
Yeah.
about everything now that we've backed your play, myself and the Poker Night Live viewers?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so. It's Eye of the Chaffinch time.
I have the chaffinch getting
I'm
that zone.
focused.
Getting the zone. Yeah. Cards
yes.
are?
Cards are war.
Cards are war.
Cards are war. In fact, that is one of the things we're doing tonight. If you've got a really good poker quote, something to give me that kind of that I need to play well and win, you can text us or you can email us, and this is how you can do that.
Do it, boys and girls. We want lots and lots of emails tonight.
There you go. Text poker to 84222. Pardon me, I was just playing
You
there.
already saw it,
I was folding a
Cheeky.
hand. And poker at pokernightlive.co.uk. And there you have it. That's how that works. You can get in touch with us here in the studio. Questions and comments. But now, it's time for Nick's Poker Corner.
Hi, I'm TV's Nick Wealthall. Now, if you're like me and you're depressed and angry about the state of the world, mortgages, other bad stuff like war and that, why not zip yourself up a comfy cocoa, relax, pop your feet up and enjoy the nice things in life, because they're not gone, they're here with me, Nick Wealthall, in Nick's Poker Corner. It's quite new, so we're just, you know, as it goes. We're going to take some of your emails. Please stop Nick's Poker Corner. Hugh, aka Dead Spiders, has emailed in. Hello, Hugh. How are you? Thank you for emailing. He says he's got poker sayings by the hatful. Hugh has. He says for all card games, one saying is engraved upon my soul. Quotes, and a 5, sir. The excitement is overwhelming. I don't know where that's from, Hugh. I think I'm probably being dumb. And anyone know that's from? And a 5, sir. The excitement is overwhelming. It may be a bit of tone when I play live, but I think I normally get away with it. I'll also never be able to forget quotes. They suck out, they suck out, they suck out, and you're gone. Thank you, Poker Zone. That's one from the show. Didn't say who said it, Hugh. It wasn't me. Harrington on Hold'em features an interesting rule. This isn't a saying. He's now gone on to a discussion topic. Harrington's law of bluffing. The probability that your opponent is bluffing when he shoves in a big bet in the pot is always at least 10%. Interesting one. This is in Dan Harrington's section on hand analysis, and what he says is, obviously the way pro players work is when they're in a heads-up pot with somebody, they will try and put their opponent on a hand. Now, it's very, very rare that you can actually put somebody on a specific hand, so you can say, you know, ace-6 or something like that. What you can usually do is put them on a range of hands. So you can usually say, well, he could have a big pair, he could be bluffing, he could be drawing to a flush, whatever. And what somebody who's experienced at the game will do is they will assign probabilities to those different outcomes. So they'll say, well, I think it's about, based on the play and what I know about this opponent, there's about a 50% chance he's got a big pair, there's about a 20% chance he's on the flush draw, there's about a 30% chance he's bluffing, or something like that. Now, what Harrington says is, in any hand, you must assign at least 10% of your probabilities to the fact that your opponent may be bluffing, even if it's a conservative player. And the reason he says that is that everybody bluffs some of the time. Even the biggest rock in the world bluffs occasionally, because you have to. Because if you don't make the occasional move, then it's too easy to read your play. So everybody does sometimes. And he says 10%. Now, I don't know whether he's right or not, but what I do know is that Dan Harrington is a pro with a tremendous track record. He's written some great books on poker, and he would have thought about this to a decent level. So I think by following that, you're probably not going a million miles too far wrong. It can be more than 10%, of course, given the situation of the player. What he's saying is it's always a baseline of 10%. He's got a final question. On the front cover of Harrington on Hold'em, Dan Harrington looks like he'd mug you in the street for your pension book. Not very nice. He doesn't look like that. He's little and ageing. On the back cover, he looks like the friendly grandpa victim of a sad mugging. So contrast. What's going on there? I don't know, Hugh. Okay, dead spiders. Thanks for your email. Good stuff. Keep them coming, guys. We're going to have lots more of Nick's Poker Corner. We're going to have it for an hour. And it's my chance to talk to you one-on-one, which I know you love. Seriously, though, do get your emails, poker@pokerlive.co.uk. Anything on poker strategy, poker tactics, poker questions is great. Anything on what you're up to this weekend, who you're in love with and why is also great. And we're doing poker quotes tonight. Poker quotes tonight. Here's one for you, top of my head. Amarillo Slim, lots of them are from Amarillo Slim, who said that if you can't fold a winning hand, you can't play. Something to think about. How are you doing, Cara Scott?
I'm doing okay, thank you, Nick Wealthall.
Are you enjoying Nick's Poker Corner?
I am immensely, although I've not been able to concentrate on it, obviously, because
It's
I am
like-
playing the poker.
It's like sometimes, like if you watch the news or you read the Daily Mail, you think that the world is full of evil and it's trying to get us
It's a
to
good
what
reason not to read the Daily Mail.
or watch the news. What I'm trying to do is prove that there's still the forces of light. Just trying to bring a bit of good back.
It's warm and cosy.
I hear the nation scream, "Shut up and get to a poker game." I'm listening. Here's the multi-table tournament. Good elbow lean.
Thank you.
That was up there with the best.
Thank you so much. I am a professional, you know.
You're awesome.
Ah, so are you.
40 players left. 54 players left. I was 14 out over 14 tables. We've got 54 players left over 7 tables. The information is changing very fast on Dynamic Poker Night Live. And we're just in time to see a lucky donk double through with the ace-king. We can see Baz at the top there. He's the big stack. 10,000 in chips. The blinds are 150, 300. So I reckon you're probably going to want about 4,000 chips, 4,500 chips to be completely comfortable and to be able to play a patient game. Anything less than that and you're looking to build that chip stack. Also, always remember in a tournament, I've just worked out how many chips I need at this blind level, but remember the blinds continually go up, so you've got to be thinking about the blind increase too. Now, McTish shouldn't really call this. You don't want to call for all your chips with a pair of 10s, almost all, but he has, and he's got lucky. Hits that 10 on the flop and doubles up and knocks out Udder. McTish, I think, is our new chip leader. Just a 20% chance, more or less, to win that pot. Now, this quote from Hugh is from a gambler's advert.
Yeah, the one they were showing during the break.
Oh, I never watched the breaks. I'm already. When you do a quality item like Nick's Poker Corner, Kerry,
Gotta
a lot of
prepare.
time preparing.
Yeah,
a lot of time
I get
preparing.
it.
Yeah. It's not something that you can just make up and flounder incredibly badly with live. Ace Queen for Gimboyd in the big blind. Now, Gimboyd's got a choice he can raise. Or
He's
he can
going to be
see the
happy
flop.
that you got his name right.
Who, Gimboyd?
Yeah, apparently people have not been getting it all that right.
What have they been calling him?
Gimbled, Gamboyd, Gambard.
Gimbalicious.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you're enjoying during Nick's Poker Corner at home. Maybe it's hot cocoa as recommended by your host, or maybe it's something lagery and fizzy. In the studio I've got a cup of coffee, quite a strong one, and some Milky Bar.
How did you get a cup of coffee?
It's Nick's Poker Corner.
Oh.
Gimboyd stays around long enough to finally hit his hand. And we've had a little look at this table. I haven't been overly excited by it, so we're going to look at another table. Interesting call by McTish a few hands ago with the 10s, doubled him up. I wonder if we'll see him at our final table. That's the sort of lucky break that can get you there. We'll check in at another table here, where Miss Votavova, a regular contributor to the show, is one of our bigger stacks. Send us an email, Miss Votavova, poker@pokernightllive.co.uk, because you were having a bad run a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't heard from you since. These guys are playing in a $10 multi-table tournament. And it's not an ordinary tournament because as you can see at the top of the screen, it's the PNL $2,000, which means that the site has added $2,000 to the prize pot. All in from Cyberman with the 10s. That's the kind of play I don't like. Sorry, Cyberman. Oh, he's got... oh, it's not too bad, actually. He's got 10 times the big blind, so I do understand it. Apologies, Cyberman. I thought the blinds were a little bit smaller than that. Russ has got the aces. And he's got a raise in front of him. Always nice with aces. He's going to be pushing his chips in here, I suspect. He's just got about double that initial raise, so... good chance of playing this pot heads up. He's left 250 chips behind. That's for a rainy day. That's just in case he... I don't know why he's done that, if I'm honest. Oh, catastrophe for the aces. Catastrophe and rebirth. He hits the straight on the turn. Well, some kind of justice has been done, if you believe in the concept of justice. He had the best hand before the flop. Most of, if not almost all the money went in. Big straight flush hits the 5 for the trips. And Russ immediately hits the 4 for a straight. Drama. On Nick's Poker Corner.
Drama.
Bendy Bear. Which sounds like a pillow talk name, doesn't it? Comes to bed, Bendy Bear. It's Friday night, I'm getting slightly tacky, let's face it. It's holiday weekend, isn't it?
Is it? What's the holiday?
If you've got like a proper job.
Oh, for a proper job.
Proper job. It's actually the workers' holiday. It's the May Day, which is the only proper holiday, isn't it?
Up the revolution. Go the workers.
Go the workers. As long as they're not actually in charge of everything, that would be disastrous, but I hope they all get bigger pensions, that's what I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like a pension myself.
Would you?
Yeah.
You're one of the millions not making adequate provision for your old age.
Yes, that is me on those adverts about pensions.
Is it?
Yep. Yeah, I planned to just, marry well, but that didn't go so well.
It's all right, you've got a couple of years left.
Past my prime now.
You're all right, Licky. You might get lucky.
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi. Miss Potterville with the raise. John Cummins is coming into this pot and now betting 300 into pot 3,000. If I was Miss Potterville, I'd be raising here. Not convinced by that 300 bet. Nice play, Miss Potterville. Not so good play by John Cummins. Well, he doesn't have a hand and he's calling and betting. Miss Potterville now thinks good commitment by Vovova. Decided on the flop that she had the best hand and followed it through on the turn, and her prize is a decent sized pot that builds that stack up to nearly 9,000. This is the Poker Night Live 2000 multi-table tournament. We started off with 115 runners and we're now down to 50-ish. 44, I'm told. So we really are getting to the business end of the tournament. Do get your emails in, guys, this Friday night. That's why we're here. We want to help you improve your game. We want to talk to you. Have fun, get to know you. Couldn't be easier to get in touch with the show. You can email us, there you go, poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. And get your email read out on the telly. Pretty good deal. I think you'll agree. 3 jacks for big straight 8 flush. And Bendy Bear wants to bet his 2 pair. PK42 is raised, and big straight flush, all he has to do is put his chips in with the best hand, with the other two having already committed. Nice situation for big straight 8, and we say goodbye to PK42, who's got his P45 in this tournament. See what I did there? Tremendous.
Oh, funny.
You'd think there was a script. We've lost PK42. And the blinds have gone up to boot. 200 and 400, so quite a small blind increase. Makes a bit of a difference, not too much. And you'd be looking for at least 4,000, probably 5,000 or 6,000 to be properly comfortable at this point, bearing in mind that the first raise, if you make a 3 times B1 raise, will be 1,200. I think you want 5,000 or 6,000 to be not starting to get short stacked. How you doing, Kara Scott? Off the telly.
Fabulous. Thank you very, very much. I'm giving nothing away. Look at me. I'm like a rock.
Would it help if I gave you some Milky Bar?
It might, although I don't think I could eat it quietly.
Well, that's all right. All right, it's coming. Hang on. Bendy Bear with the Ace Jack.
Oh, Milky Bar. That's all I can think about.
You're actually quite demanding, aren't you? I've noticed that.
Really? Have you?
Quite a high maintenance lady.
You're going to give me a bad reputation.
It's not me that's doing that, is it?
I'm not that high maintenance.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it like that.
Well, I'm just saying. Bendy Bear has a winner. He's up to 3,500. Cracking email from Big Jace, which we're going to read in a minute on Nick's Poker Corner. I want you all to pay attention. This is the kind of quality email submission we're looking for. That's what has made this section of the show so popular. John Cummins takes one down. He's up to 8,500. Good luck to him. Hello. Welcome back to Nick's Poker Corner. Let me tell you a story. All right, I'll probably not tell you a story. I'll tell you an email story. This is from Big Jace. Cracking email, Big Jace. Thank you, mate. Probably need it on screen to read it, won't I? It's one of the key fundamentals. Thanks for this. He says, great start to the show as always. If cards are war, the new guys are indeed the elite generals guiding us through the battlefield. Think of myself as a field marshal, but I'll take general. There's a post on our forums, by the way, that says the way to get your email read on Poker Night Live is to start your email by saying, great show as always, guys, and then compliment the host. And that post, right, is correct. BJ says, there are a couple of quotes which stick in my memory and I believe have helped me with my play. First one's from Lou Krieger, who says, most of the money you win at poker comes not from the brilliance of your own play, but from the ineptitude of your opponents. Absolutely true. Poker is a game of mistakes. I hate to say this because it de-glamorises it a little bit. Occasionally you make brilliant plays, occasionally you'll see other players make brilliant plays. But basically what happens is people make mistakes and it's up to you to minimise your mistakes and take advantage of other people's. Absolutely right, from Lou Krieger. And secondly, one from the poker legend Nick Wealthall. It's embarrassing. It's backfired. When deciding to call... Sorry. Go with yourself. When deciding to call for all your chips, that's my mum saying that, in a tournament, quotes, what is my hand beating? Much easier to throw away rag aces and etc. when repeating this to yourself. Yeah, it's not an original thought by me, but I'll go with it, Big Jace. What is my hand beating is a key question when you're calling. People call too easily with optimism, I think. People call with hope and then leave the tournament with despair. He gives the example of ace rags, very good example, hands like king, queen, king, jack. And it also applies to general poker when someone raises in front of you. If someone raises in front of you, they're saying they've got a good hand. Now, they don't always have a good hand. Sometimes they're making a move, but let's say it's a solid player. They're saying they've got a good hand. If you sit down there and you look down, you see a marginal hand like a pair of sevens or like king queen. Ask yourself, what raising hand are you beating? What raising hand are you significantly ahead of? Because we don't want to chase in poker. We want to be ahead in poker. So that's a good one. And finally, from Terry Pratchett, which compares life to a game of poker. God does not always play dice with the universe. He plays an ineffable game of his own devising, which might be compared from the perspective of any of the other players, i.e. everybody, to being involved in an obscure and complex version of poker in a pitch-dark room, with blank cards for infinite stakes, with a dealer who won't tell you the rules and who smiles all the time. Just going to let that sink in. That's Nick's Poker Corner at its absolute best. You all right, Kara Scott?
I am all right, thank you very much.
Are you winning?
I am winning, yes.
I am winning.
Well, I can say that.
Yeah, you can. Don't let any of those people tell you that your plays are bad, because as we've discerned tonight, they're almost universally wrong. Bless them. Good response on the text and emails now, guys. Keep them coming. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. I've got a text from somebody who's 2 question marks, who wants to know what knickers I'm wearing. Can I just say, Nick's Poker Corner is a family section of the show. Other sections of the show, a little bit more late night, a little bit gambly, a little bit whatever. This is one the kids can watch. In fact, I hear a lot of people are taping it for their kids and using me as a role model. Well, that's nice. I didn't ask for it, but it's nice. But we don't have... I'm actually not wearing any. We don't like that kind of thing. Keep the text and emails coming, guys. We're going to get back to some poker before too many of you go spare. We're going to go to our poker player shootout, which I'll tell you about as we watch it. Let's have a look. A little cough. Still got 40 minutes of Nick's Poker Corner for your texts and emails, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. This is the poker player shootout. Kiss my face. Now, if you didn't see this last week, this is the second week we've had it on the show. It's a great tournament because it's free. Those are the kind of entry fees I like to pay.
Nice, very nice.
Very nice. This is the semi-final stage, slightly different to the other tournaments that we've covered on the show in that it's a shootout, and what that means is it's a series of single-table tournaments. It's like a knockout tournament, has different rounds, and in order to progress to the next round, you have to win your single table. Oh, windy pops. You have to win your single table. So you're playing a winner-takes-all tournament, basically, with all that entails. And we are watching the semi-final stage. So all of these players, congratulations to them. They've all won a first-round table. And so they're here in the semi-final. If they win this, they'll go to the final, which is the table we'll show at 12 o'clock. And everybody that wins this will get some sort of cash prize. I believe there's $1,000 shared out among the final table participants, depending on where they finish. And not only that, as if you needed more, there is more. The winner of the final will come to the studio and will play in a live TV tournament. So we're going to run this 8 weeks. And we're going to... So I'm just watching Kara's game. I'm massively distracted. Remember what happened the other night with that sum of chips? Remember?
Yeah, that's true. I came back.
You came back.
And
we'll
I
tell
won.
the viewers about that later. I'd forgotten. We haven't told them about it, have we?
I did yesterday, but it's a good story. I'll do it again.
You didn't think you should save it till I was here, no?
I couldn't.
Sometimes I don't think you care at all.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So the winner of one of these Poker Player Shootout nights, there's going to be 8 of them, this is number 2, will win a seat in a tournament to be shot in Poker Zone and shown on Poker Zone. So you'll get to play poker live on the telly. So not only can you win cash tonight, you can win cash there, but you can get to play on telly. So it's a great prize, great event for you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Also, if you look in Poker Player the magazine, the best poker magazine on the market, trademark, you'll see an article written by me, your host, telling you all about it. Well, the dips hand is good, even though it's not that impressive. Well, 3 nines actually. I didn't see the first 9. Sorry, I'm too busy dealing with your emails. Thank you, boys and girls. Great response from you. Appreciate it. Keep them coming. So we're still early in this semi-final round of the shootout. The blinds are still low. And this means that people can enter the pot with sort of marginal hands. So we've got players with 7-6 here, 9-10, King-Queen, the 9-10's hit. And Pamela's going to want to bet this, I'd have thought. Oh, that's a massive bet. And Pamela does this. Saw her do this last week. Puts in huge bets compared to the amount in the middle. And you know, that's fine, but the problem with it is when you run into a big hand, you've got nowhere to go, you're bust. You're playing for your tournament all the time. Well, a small raise from the aces, that's allowed other players in. It's worked out so far, nobody's overtaken Davey. Can Ian get away from this? He can't, he calls. Well, surely he can get away now. He doesn't want to put his tournament on the line for this, does he? He kind of has already, actually. He's put so much in, there's so much in the middle. But no, he does fold a loser, which he was right to do. He shouldn't have committed quite so much, though. If he was willing to consider he might be beaten, he should have been willing to consider that earlier on. Straight draw. That's the straight draw. Betting on the come, little semi-bluff, nice to see. Meanwhile, Karaskov's going mental in the studio. It's quite funny to watch. She's literally doing the celebration dance without anyone being able to see her. You all right?
Yeah.
You going to calm down, please?
Yeah.
All right, you need to get your zen. Eye of the chaffinch, not eye of the rabid chaffinch. That has to be put down, please. It's a fine line. Ian Curtis. Oh, Ian missed an opportunity there to go over the top of Big Paul. I think that was a good chance to push all in, and now he doesn't know where he is. Tournaments are all about opportunities, guys, and I think Ian missed one there. If he can call now, he's a genius. No, he can't. He could have gone all in before the flop and picked up those chips of Big Paul, because Big Paul's on the button. Very good chance that he's stealing. Oh, danger for the aces. The flush draw is out. Shafty needs to close this one down right now. All bet so much that if Davey calls, he's making a mistake. Well, now all kinds of draws for Davey. He's got the straight draw, he's got the flush draw. And the aces do hold up, but there was real peril there. All kinds of draws. Ace king for Pamela. Well, oh, Davey's a little tendency to call a bit too much, Davey, I think. Pamela takes this one down. All players are still here. The blinds go up for the first time. It's a good structure, this tournament. Plenty of room to play for the guys. And seeing as how the entry's free, you can't complain, can you? It's Poker Night Live. Nick Wealthall and Kara Scott with you till 2 a.m. And we want your texts and emails. 84222 on the text. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk on the emails. Kara playing the tournament. We'll see a little bit later in the evening. Nines for Wills. Little raise. 3 times the big blind. Does the dip want to play? One of the worst hands I think you can play from the big blind, a bad ace, because when the ace comes, how can you possibly know if you're winning or losing? I would contend you can't. We're going to have an unraised pot here. Pretty trashy hands. Let's see if anyone catches. Not really. Who wants to be bowled as well? They're still going to play. Davey's got the straight draw. Big Paul's made his flush. He's actually made a straight flush. I was very slow to see that. Davey's made a Big Paul's made a straight flush. Look at that, guys. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of spades. And the others are going to find this very difficult to beat. The Holy Nuts. When did you last have the Holy Nuts? Let us know. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. I had a straight flush the other day. Haven't had one for about 2 years, actually. Tremendously exciting. There we go, straight flush. We won't see another one of those tonight, I promise you. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of spades. Fantastic. Kingsbury and Curtis, he needed them, but he didn't need to do that. I don't understand that. And he's actually trapped because Shafty has the aces. So I think he was going to be in trouble in this hand anyway. But he didn't need to go all in there. He's got 12 times the big blind. And Shafty's going to take him out. Unlucky in. Not the luckiest of tournaments for him. And we bid him farewell. Nine 8 for Davey. The dip's going to raise with Jack 8. And Wills is going to take this pot away from the dip. As the dip's going to get really leery and bluff with nothing. He's thinking about it. He did it before the flop, might do it on the flop. We're still in the early stages here, 15:30 blinds. And Shafty picks up the kings. Just had the aces, so this is an easy game, isn't it, Shafty? Let me tell you. Pretty easy fold with the ace-jack for ST3V3T. Still nice to see. And Davey, my friend, you're playing a few too many hands and you're playing them a little bit too loosely, getting out of line. And the other thing for Davey is that he keeps picking up hands against people with better hands, which is not his fault and slightly annoying, I'd imagine. Ace 10 for Davey up front, and that's going to win it without a contest, I think. It's the same faces, isn't it, guys, in these pots? Oh, certainly one face. Davey's involved in a lot of the action. Still 7-handed in this poker player shootout.
Right, so I'm back then. TV's Nick Wealthall.
Are you back, Cara
I'm
Scott?
back now in the room.
Did you enjoy Nick's Poker Corner as much as the rest of the nation?
I missed most of it because I was playing poker.
Yeah,
I apologise.
it was brilliant.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Was it an iconic TV moment and I missed it?
Yeah. Timeout's already called it passable.
At best. I don't think so.
No, it's just passable. We lose a player while we're nattering. The dip has left us.
Right, so what are we looking at here? For those of us who've just joined the poker player shootout.
That's you.
That would be me.
This is our poker player shootout, Cara.
Yes.
So it's essentially a winner takes all, because the winner will advance to the final later tonight, and the rest of the players will go home with nothing but a little appearance on the TV. Queen Jack versus the sevens. Davey's going to be leaving us, so he hit Queen or Jack, and he can't do it. And Shafty beat up Davey all night long. Unfortunately for Davey, Shafty kept having better hand than him.
Ouch.
Very frustrating. And what happens now, if you have 2 or 3 hands, even good players have this frustration. You have 2 or 3 hands against the same player, and they keep making a bet or a raise which you can't call.
Yeah.
You start to think that either they can see through your cards, or they're just bluffing you, or whatever. Sometimes it can be that, but sometimes it's just that they happen to be picking up hands when you've got a hand. And you still have to try and maintain your discipline, try and play your cards on their merits. Davey there, I think, a little bit frustrated, went out probably before he had to with the Queen Jack.
Okay. And that's where it stands at the moment. Good to know, good to know. So the blind structures and whatnot are the same as a normal sit and go?
It's slower than the sit and goes we usually show. It's got quite a slow structure to it. You get 12-minute rounds, basically. So there's a lot of play in them, although players still play quite fast. And when I wrote the article about the first one of these nights, which we showed last week, I made the observation, as me and James did on air, that because it's winner takes all, sometimes people change the way they play and they try and get some chips and try and get into a good position early on. And it's really not necessary. You should still play based on the opportunities that present themselves and the cards and the blinds.
Right.
And your chip stack. Later on, you may vary your play because it's winner takes all. That may have a bearing on what happens. But in the early going, it's just a game of poker, and you should just try and play a winning game of poker and not worry about, in my opinion, maybe someone disagrees with me.
Okay. The red screen is very stirring.
It's good, isn't it?
It is. It's very stirring.
Red signifying power.
Yes. Passionate. The passion of the game.
Yes.
I got a little passionate myself there a few moments ago with the
You did.
with the poker.
I wish the viewers could have seen it. It's exciting, wasn't it?
It was exciting.
You've got a good tournament to watch later, guys.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
Yeah.
And a good story to tell afterwards, because I didn't actually tell the full entire story.
You wouldn't do that, would you?
I wouldn't have done that. Not without you, Nick.
No, quite right. 5 players left. They're all competing for first place, and they'll move on to the final, which will be later on tonight, which we'll show you. Big Paul has a 6. Shafty has very little. Is he going to try and bluff, or he's not going to try and do anything with that? Big Paul takes it down. There are 2 big stacks in the tournament. Pamela also has quite a big stack. And it's quite a slow structure. Nobody's massively under threat. ST3 won't be happy that he's the short stack. It's never where you want to be. But at the same time, just does not have to panic at all. Plenty of time to pick up a hand.
Yeah, you can panic a little bit sometimes just looking at you relative to everyone else, I suppose. But you need to look at that and the amount of the blinds.
Yeah, I mean, the absolute key thing in a tournament is your stack compared to the blinds. After that, your stack compared to other players' stacks is important, but it's not as important as your stack compared to the blinds, in my opinion.
Okay.
How your stack compares to other players' stacks affects the play. If you're the short stack, obviously, the big problem you've got is that everybody on the table can bust you. So you're not safe going down a hand with anyone. If you're the biggest stack, obviously the reverse is true. And there will be some stacks, some short stacks that you may not even mind gambling against. You might not mind going in with the worst hand because you think you've still got a decent chance in the hand. Maybe you're 60-40 underdog. But if you win the hand, you knock somebody out. Not 4 players out, you've won this tournament at the moment. If you lose the hand, you may still be either the biggest stack or... see, Shafty here could play a pot against Wills. He could lose that pot and he'd still be either the biggest or second biggest stack. So stack size becomes very important. But in terms of your survival, in terms of whether you should be seriously worried or not, your stack in relation to the blinds is the key.
Right.
To the secret.
That's the secret of the poker universe.
It's not, no, I'll tell you that in the break.
Okay, because that one's a secret.
Pamela M makes a good check raise here. Shafty's been aggressive. She's taken advantage of that. I like that play. And
Wow.
Shafty can put down ace-queen there, which is bad to very bad. Well, he's got no pair and somebody's check raised him. Well, when somebody check raises you, that is a very strong move, as we know.
Right.
So all Shafty can really beat there is a bluff or some kind of drawing hand. Well, Pamela might have a drawing hand. You know, she might be bluffing. But what's more likely? What's more likely? If she's check raising the biggest stack at the table, to me, it's the more likely thing is that she's got some kind of a hand, and certainly a hand that beats no pair.
Right.
And I don't think Shafty should have felt the need to play that.
Okay. Maybe he was trying to exert his perceived authority on the table.
Yeah, but the cards don't know that, do they?
True. That's true. The cards don't know.
He still has the worst hand. He can
doesn't change.
perceive authority till the cows come home. He's still got no pair.
Ah, yes.
Playing a big stack is actually harder than people appreciate, I think.
Yeah?
Well, it's great to have the big stack because, you know, nobody can break you. So you can play with a lot more freedom. And you've usually got a lot of chips in relation to the blinds, which means that, again, you can play with a lot more freedom.
But people are going to use you to double up, aren't they? Or going to try
well,
to.
they may do. I think the real problem is that it's a fine line between playing more aggressively and playing more hands and making mistakes, which quickly mean you're not the biggest chip stack anymore.
Right.
So it's kind of... And it's quite, you don't know whether you should stay or whether you should go. You don't know whether you should use that big chip stack to try and make it even bigger, or whether you should play more quietly and be content that you're ahead and let other people make mistakes.
Right.
There are kind of two different ways you can play, and it's interesting. You do tend to get players that are good short stack players and players that are good big stack players, and not too many that are good at both. And neither player wants to bet this. Shafty doesn't want to bet it because there's overcards. And Big Paul doesn't want to bet because he hasn't got anything. He's got ace high.
So whoever bets first probably takes us down.
You're right. But it's going to be hard for either of them to bet because it's now a flush. So there we are. Interesting. Bit more courage by Big Paul. He could have taken that away from Shafty. But easy from up here, isn't it?
Isn't it? Our lofty view on the poker cloud.
Wheels takes one down. Short stack at the table. And not overly comfortable now the blinds have gone up to 50 and 100. Not an absolute crisis mode, but not healthy either. Hope you're all having fun at home. It's Friday. It's a holiday weekend.
Fantastic.
Bit of poker.
It's a great way to start the holiday weekend. Ease yourself in.
I'm so playing when I get home. Well, Wills is going to double up here.
Oh, yes. Yeah, even the 6 couldn't save Big Paul.
It's a strange bet from Big Paul on the flop there because Wills has only got 400 chips left. So the chances of him passing anything are really quite slim. And Big Paul's betting there without a hand. He's betting with ace high. So Big Paul, replay that hand in your mind. Ask yourself, what were you trying to achieve with putting the 400 chips in there? Wills isn't going to fold. Or, well, it's extremely unlikely he's going to fold.
Right. Yes, so ask yourself what you're trying to do with the moves that you're making. And if someone answers in a different way, what are you going to do then? So if you've asked a question and you found out someone's got a hand or they're representing a hand, do you lay it down?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You want to be... I saw this on a chess program, actually. Do you remember... You were in Canada. When we were very young, chess was kind of popular.
All the rage with the kids.
Well, there was a kids chess program, and I remember to this day the expert on there saying, when you make any move in chess, be able to explain to yourself why you're doing it. Don't just go, I'll move that pawn, or I'll move that queen. Exactly the same is true in poker. When you do anything in poker, if I came up to you immediately after you'd done it, stopped the action and said, why have you raised, I'd want you to be able to give me a clear, understandable explanation of why. And if you can do that, you're well on the road to being a good poker player, because it is a tactical and a strategic game.
Right.
And you should know why you're doing things.
Which is pretty much probably why you were telling me to calm down and breathe while I was playing, because I was in danger of losing my head.
I just don't want to put down an innocent chaffinch. Because it's a very emotional game, guys. You're going to enjoy watching it. It was.
I'm exhausted now from that.
It was the definitive roller coaster ride, right?
It was. Yeah. You know what? I enjoyed that probably more than any other Beat the Presenter I have ever done, just because it was a roller coaster ride. Because you were here.
It was a roller coaster ride.
It was so exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm going to leave it up to you. You guys can watch it after the break and tell me what you think, if I played well, if I didn't, if I'm finally improving, or if I just got lucky. It's up to you. Why don't you email us in and let us know, but we're going for a break, and we'll see you after it.
Bye.
Hello, and welcome back to Poker Night Live again, Friday night / Saturday morning. It's the weekend. That's official, folks. That's official.
Kara, I can't wait for the weekend to begin.
It has.
Brilliant.
So there you go.
Yeah, because I couldn't wait.
Done.
Yeah.
You couldn't wait, and it's done. And we're all very excited. Now, in this hour, there's lots of reason to be excited because, number one, we're going to take a look at the poker player shootout again, finishing off
Final.
that
Oh,
game
we're
because
gonna
that's
finish
quite
that.
exciting.
Yes.
We've got lots of emails, again, very exciting. And
Okay.
then, beat the presenter
A moment of special excitement.
for me, because I enjoyed that very, very much. But first of all, let's take some emails
Good.
as well. Should we do that?
Yeah, wicked.
Okay, here we go. Here's one from Andrew Best again. And Andrew says, hello again and hiya.
He's got 2 in.
I know. He says, just one quick point about tournaments. As I said earlier, I play almost exclusively sit and goes, and my feeling is that if I have 5 times the big blind, I'd prefer to raise all in under the gun against 4 or 5 players with 7-2 off than wait for a random big blind hand and have to call for all my chips or worse, still fold.
So that's going back to the theme from earlier about moving rather than waiting.
Right.
That is taking it to an extreme. Whether
7-2 off. Because are you going to get a worse hand than 7-2 off?
Well, that's an interesting theoretical question, Andrew, you pose. I think probably in most cases, if you've waited till the hand before the blinds to make that move, you might have waited too long. Whether it's better to move all in with 5 times the big blind under the gun with 7-2 than it is to wait until the big blind is a tricky one. It probably depends on the table, to be honest. It probably depends on how likely you are to be called as to whether that's the right move or whether you're better off waiting, because obviously 7-2 is a terrible hand. But, you know, what I've been saying earlier in the show, I would never have a problem with somebody making that move because their idea is that they would rather not get to crisis level on their chips. I think that's the way to play when you get short stacked. It makes logical sense to me.
And it makes logical sense to me. Right, there we go. Now, if you have a question, a comment, something you want to say to us here in the studio, then do let us know. You can send us a text or an email. And the text number is there. It's 84222. Put the word poker in first and then your question. And email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
We're going to do lots more emails later, aren't we?
I know, I was kind of chomping at the bit there, but we're going to go to the poker game because that is very important, obviously.
We are going to do lots later, guys, so don't be discouraged.
Fear not. Fear not. Right, poker.
Poker, you say?
Poker, I say. It's a crazy new fad that's sweeping the nation.
Apparently so. I don't think it'll catch on. It won't last.
Oh.
5 players left, and if you weren't with us earlier, this is the Poker Player Magazine Shootout. And it's a winner-takes-all semi-final. So the winner of this one-table tournament, there are 7 others just like it going on in the internet digital universe. We can't see them, we just see this one. And all of those table winners will come together to play a final. This is a free roll tournament. Didn't cost these people anything to enter. How lucky are they? And if they make the final, they'll share out $1,000 between them, with the winner getting them, I think, $500 first prize. Not only that, but the winner of the final table will come here to the Poker Zone studios, where they will play on the telly. Bad situation for Wills here. He's got the ace-10, ST3. Has got the aces. Now, what does he want to do?
Difficult to believe because he's in the small blind there. So
yeah,
he's not going to believe he's got a hand.
Nice place to find him, totally.
I'll say.
And he's decided to re-raise. He had options there. He could have called. Played it a bit slower. And an option for him here, although it's a risky one, wouldn't always recommend it, is to check to try and make it look like he was stealing. He doesn't need to do that because Wills is going to call him with no pair. Well, I don't know what's going through Wills's head there. Red wine, I imagine.
And regret. Red wine and regret. And we've all been there.
Red wine and regret. My goodness. That's my Tuesday. Will's calling for almost all his chips with no pair against a pre-flop raiser and on the flop better. I mean, he can't even beat ace-jack. As we said earlier, Big J's quoting me back to me. That's never happened before.
Yeah.
Which is a line from? No one's ever quoted me back to me before. When Harry Met Sally.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't notice that.
You know, it's not even a particularly important scene in the film. Slightly sidetracked. Will's calling for a lot of his chips. What can you beat, Wills, in that situation? what can you beat?
What can you beat?
Sometimes you just have to accept that somebody's either got a hand or they've beaten you into the pot. One of those two things have happened, and you have to go quietly into the night.
It hurts, though. It really does hurt sometimes. You just think, ah! And that's probably where you get drawn into pots that you shouldn't, and you lose tournaments.
Yeah, well, it can hurt, but, you know, let it hurt, but without playing the hand. That's the secret. Because it hurts a lot more when you play the hand and you lose your chips.
Yeah, and you go, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Well, if you knew that, then why'd you do it? That's me with the red wine and regret talking.
I had a conversation with a man called... Horse. No, a man called...
Interesting story.
Thank
eh?
you. I know his name and it's going to come back to me, which is why I was hesitating, because it's gone temporarily, but it's coming back. Now it is...
Oh, it's a good TV.
No idea. It's great, isn't it? You've got to build the tension, Cara.
I feel tense.
Yeah, must be an overriding feeling. It's the Poker MBA. Greg, I'm almost there. People in their living room screaming if they've read the book. Greg somebody. The Poker MBA is the book. It's a book about poker and business. I think it's one of Casper's favourites about poker.
I bet. It sounds like it.
Yeah, I'm not so keen, but it's interesting.
I've heard him talk about it before, I think.
Okay, I talked to the author and I said, what's the difference between great poker players and average poker players? And what's the difference between people that make billions of dollars and people that make tens of thousands of dollars?
Right.
And are they the same? And he said, Nick, they are. He didn't know who I was, he didn't say Nick. It's just come to me. It's Greg Dinkin as Will's double through. It's just come to me via Cara looking it up on the internet.
I was going to let you have that.
Oh, were you?
I so was.
Oh, bless you. I said, what's the difference? And he said, it's execution. Basically, in poker, a lot of us know the right thing to do. If you've been playing and studying the game for a year or so, you know most of the game. You don't know it at the top level. You don't know the top levels of maths and thought and counter plays and reading players, but you know, 80% of the knowledge you'll need. But it's about, can you bring that knowledge to bear in the moment? When the bet goes in and it's your turn to make a decision, all of that knowledge that you hold, all of that experience you've built up, can you bring it to bear? Do you listen to the little voice, your subconscious, telling you what the situation is, telling you you're beaten? Or do you call anyway and then get really cross when you were right all along? Which of those do you do? Because that's what separates winning poker players from losing poker players. It's that ability to execute in the moment. And when we're playing our best games, we act purely on our accumulated knowledge, experience and instinct. When we're playing our worst, we call when we know we're beaten. We raise when we've got that sneaky feeling that when the big blind looked at his cards, he saw a big hand, It's the small differences. That's what makes the difference.
I see.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm trapped by my own syntax. Cara, get me out. Say something about poker.
About poker? In it funny.
Thanks, that's
in it a funny game. Look at there, we've got a pair of fours there, and it's won the whole thing right there. Wow.
Good covering.
Thanks very much.
That's what makes you among the best.
Oh, I wasn't quite paying attention to you, and
no,
it showed.
I know you weren't.
I'm sorry, I had a producer talking in my ear, and it was distracting, and I was doing the best I could.
See I so much as care.
My eyes had glazed over.
Ace King for Pamela in the big blind, but she doesn't get to play it because it's passed round to her.
Ah, see, when you say the obvious, it's okay then.
Can't work under these conditions.
You're going to stomp out in a huff.
Yeah, so...
Big old huff. And you just did stomp out in a huff there.
Ace-8, makes middle pair, Wills calls. Wills wins.
Yep.
Well, Pamela asked the question and Wills was able to find the right answer. There's a 10 on the flop, but not too many hands are being his with a pair of nines. Quite a good flop for a pair of nines. He found he made the right decision.
He certainly did, and it paid off.
It paid off.
And there we go, Ace-Jack against King-10, against Queen-3, and the Queens have hit the flop. What's he going to do?
Must bet. Must bet. Can't possibly do anything other than bet there.
Wow. 4 times a big blind. Boom, in.
In. He really wants to win the hand there because
Yeah.
his hand is extremely unlikely to improve, and he has a bad kicker. And lots of horrible things can happen. An ace could come, a king could come. Somebody could have one pair and hit a second pair.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a very vulnerable top pair, so he needs a bet. He did bet.
Wills has got a flush draw there,
Little
as well as a
tiny
pair. A weeny little tiny one.
one.
But he
Now,
thinks it's enough.
yeah,
Oh, boy.
you got to play your player there a little bit. I haven't seen Wills fold many hands after the flop, and I don't think he's the right man to bluff at on this table.
Okay.
Big Ball decided to bluff, and it didn't work out. I would not be trying to bluff Wills. Who would you be trying to bluff? That's a bit unfair. You didn't see the early going, did you?
Yeah, I'm not sure at this point. I
I
wouldn't
would
be
be
able to
trying
say.
to bluff ST3.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Stevie T?
In fact, left to my own devices, I'd raise every time it was his big blind.
Really?
Yeah. He's playing very solid poker. I'm not saying he's playing badly, but he's only playing when he's got a good hand.
Right.
He hasn't played many hands, and his blinds are there for the taking. I definitely wouldn't be bluffing Shafty or Wills because they like to call and see flops. Pamela hits the miracle card for 3 sevens and bets 300. Shafty's going to think he's got the best hand here. Ooh, that's a horrible card for Shafty. Interesting situation, though. Well, he didn't lose too much. Pamela didn't bet too much. Shafty could have been tempted to raise there. It didn't improve his hand as much as it appeared. It only improved his hand if Pamela also had one pair. Given the betting, it was reasonably unlikely that Pamela had a 9. If Pamela had a king with a different kicker to Shafty, then it improved his hand. But in every other eventuality, it didn't improve his hand. If Pamela had the flush, had the 7, the queen doesn't help. That's just a little bit of analysis for you there, Kara.
Thank you. I do like the analysis. And you're wearing the analysis glasses,
I'm wearing
which
the
makes
analysis
it
glasses.
doubly good.
Yeah.
Doubly good. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to do a few emails now because we did have a bit of a
Great.
teaser at the beginning of the hour saying we
Great.
had some. And here they are. Now, this one is from one of our regular viewers and players on the TV table. This is John, a.k.a. Buffy Be Good.
Who we saw make an awesome bluff re-raise earlier on.
Yes, we did. And
Very
we do
good
see him play really well sometimes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Buffy is good.
Yeah, he is, and he's given me some good advice as well sometimes in the chat box, so thank you very much. And he
Well,
says...
that's enough credit for Buffy. That's not, because...
Don't go over the top there.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't want to get complacent.
I do wonder why he chose the name Buffy Be Good, because I always thought he was a girl with a name like Buffy. And then, much to my chagrin, found out he wasn't. I do apologize. I think he asked me if I was a mother, and I asked him if he was a mother, and it all went wrong. Anyways, dear Kara and Nick, great show as always, and nice seeing Kara on the tables before the show. Yeah, I did have a little peek in and see who was around. Just a quick email to say, please make sure Matt sends his sunglasses out soon, or Stanters is going to tell more jokes, and this could lead to the show being cancelled. Isn't that nice? Thanks, Buffy. Because apparently, Stanters' jokes, ouch, not so funny sometimes. But he did, for those of you who don't know the story, did win a pair of shades to play poker in, to hide his eyes and indeed his poker nose. Is that how you say that?
Does that mean his nose?
No.
I thought it was Canadian for nose.
No.
Oh.
Anyways, yeah. So he did win a pair of sunglasses. So hopefully those will be sent out to him very soon. I'm sure they will, and they'll improve his play. And he says, good luck and beat the presenter, Kara. We'll see you there. And indeed, you did. And thank you for watching that as well. And we are going to be showing that game very soon, so don't go anywhere.
I think Stanters will wear them when he plays online.
He might do.
Yeah.
It could help.
Yeah, it could help.
It could be kind of an inner confidence thing.
Put your poker kit on before you play.
Get your kit on.
Whatever helps.
Yeah. A little bit of red wine, maybe not so much. Pair of sunglasses? It's not a crazy idea, I've heard worse. Right, this one is from Crumble. That's Martin in West Sussex. Hiya, Martin. Says, hi, Kara and Nick. Enjoying the show. Good to hear some strongly held opinions. I guess that would be Nick then. He certainly has some strong opinions. I'm afraid that all the quotes I can think of right now are unbroadcastable because of just going out of the MTT. Well short of the money. But I do have a question on poker terminology. Says, there seems to be a fashion right now for going all in from the blinds whenever there have been a few limpers. I call players that do this limper scoopers. Nice. Because it's descriptive and it sounds faintly derogatory. But is there an official name for this behaviour? Regards, and that's Crumble. Limper scoopers.
You know how, I've got a little analogy for you, which will seem obtuse, because it is. You know how with property, the property market, what happens in London, actually what happens with like really expensive property, I only know this because I watch property programmes. Do I look like a homeowner? Property in London, basically, trends happen to expensive property in London. That ripples out to kind of the rest of the property in London, and that ripples out to the country. So, and you have this kind of progressive effect. And so you can get a situation where house prices are booming somewhere, but actually in London, which is the start of most house price movements, they're actually going down or whatever. I think that happens in poker too, because that move that you've talked about was fashionable among top players years ago, actually. And I think these moves that top players do kind of slowly get passed down. You know, somebody puts it on a forum, somebody then puts it in a book, and eventually everybody knows about it. And then you have a thing called, you have the accepted wisdom, and then you have the kind of counter move to that. Because the thing about poker is whatever somebody does, there's a counter move. The long-winded way of saying that limpy scoopery, I don't know what it's called, no idea, that's the first time I've heard it given a name. It's a really good move, providing that nobody else you're playing against knows the move. If other players know the move, then you can get into trouble. It's a really good move. The reason it's a really good move is that if everybody's limp, they probably don't have anything. It's that simple. If you think about what hands you'd limp into a pot with, they tend to be small and medium pairs, or things like Jack 10 or King 10 or, you know, Jack 9 or whatever. Especially when 2 or 3 people have limped, then other players are more likely to limp as well. If you put in a big raise, if somebody puts in a big raise, those are not the sort of hands you want to call a big raise with. The problem is that if somebody knows that the big raise from the big blind is a steal, they may come back over the top, or they may even call you all in. That's why it's not used as much at the top levels of poker anymore. But in a lot of games it will work, because players don't know it and they just know the value of their cards. And it takes a lot of guts to come back over the top again with a hand like 2 sixes, for example. So limper scooper, interesting. First time I've heard it given a name, but it is a recognised play, and as I said, it's a really good play, providing you're not playing against somebody who knows the move and has got a lot of courage. A lot of times it will work, though. A lot of times it will work. Everyone's limped, you're on the button, small blind or big blind, put in a massive raise.
Yeah, I have to say, I honestly feel quite tempted to do that sometimes myself. But I'm a bit still nervous about the fact that if someone's limped in, that maybe they actually do have something, they won't trust me and they'll call it, so.
Well, I would try it.
And see what happens.
And see what happens.
Yeah,
you know,
good advice.
The thing about poker is you shouldn't be afraid to experiment with different moves, and you need to add moves to your game. Do it in a smaller stakes game than you'd usually play, a game you don't care about so much.
Okay.
See if it works for you.
We'll try that. Okay, we're going to do one more email here, and this one's a quote. Thank you very much. It's from WYSIWYG.
Poker quotes.
Poker quotes from WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG says, "Hi, Nick and Karen. How you doing, WYSIWYG? Loving the show as always. Here are 2 poker quotes that I've heard and I like. If you can't spot the sucker at the table within 30 minutes, then it's you." Yeah, that's one of the ones we did earlier, and I like it too. I think that's quite funny. And also, play the players, not just the cards. Yes, and that's something that a lot of the commentators say themselves, and that's some of the advice they've been giving me as a new player. So, yeah, play the players, not just the cards. And there's also another one that I quite like, and it's a Mark Twain. So, you know, you'll have to bear with me. It's a bit wordy. He says, "There are few things that are so unpardonably neglected in this country as poker. Why, I've known clergymen, good men, kind-hearted, liberal, sincere, and all that, who didn't even know the meaning of the word flush. It's enough to make one ashamed of one's species." Mark Twain.
Gotta love Mark Twain.
I do like a bit of Twain.
You should probably love Mark Twain as much as you dislike the clergy. It should be an inverse correlation, in my opinion. There you go. We're going to pop off now to a game. Very special game.
Yes, in fact.
Poker Player Shootout is quite a long time. We've got so much to pack in tonight, guys. We've still got the final of a multi-table tournament to come. We are going to see the final of the Poker Player Shootout, but we need to get in the magic. The Karascore magic. Let's see, beat the presenter.
Yes, let's take a look.
Did they
Did they beat the presenter? That's what the question everyone's asking. Oh, yeah. And there I am, Great Scott, down there in seat 4. Some of the lovely regular viewers as well. Miss V, otherwise known as the Queen of Poker, amongst some of her peers.
Is she?
She is a very, very good player, yeah. I believe she's in the MTT as well this year.
Oh, yeah.
Or today, even this year. This year.
MTT this year.
Today.
Hot news.
No, she plays a lot of MTTs. And yeah, Sausages and Wizard, Robo Squirrel. I don't know how to say the one that's in seat 1. No Excel. But he's
Something like
very
that.
good. And Fishing for Chips as well, obviously. Gemstar sat there too. All good players.
And all welcome
All welcome at the table. Welcome.
to take on Great Scott.
Yeah, and I believe someone actually stood up as well to let me sit down, but I came into the table so late that I didn't see who it was. So whoever it was, thank you very much. I think it might have been Hoofy.
Bless whoever it was.
Yeah, it would have been his seat, so. All right, now let's
Great
see.
Scott, a.k.a. Toast Rack.
Yes. Yeah, AKA Toast Rack. Right. Now, I'm quite curious to see how some of these players manage to steal so many blinds and, well, just take down so many chips so early in the tournament. So this is something I want to be watching while we do this. Because you all start
Are
with
they
the
being
same.
naughty?
No, they're being very good.
Oh, yeah?
We've all started with 1,000 chips. And, you know, by the time we reach the second level, a few of the players had, you know, distinctly more than that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm always quite curious to see what they're actually raising with. What hands are they deeming good enough, and what positions are they working from? So King, Queen there, Robo Squirrel. That's obviously good enough. In the,
So how do you feel it's
Cut off.
gone so far for you?
well, fine,
Yeah?
really.
Pretty smooth sailing.
So far,
Yeah.
nothing to talk about.
Relax.
Yeah, ease into it a little. Ease on in. Okay, A7 from No Excel. Huh. Well, in the small blind, he's taking no chances, but someone had already limped in. So this is a limper scooper.
That was a limper scooper play.
Ah, look at that, limper scooper.
Excuse me. Ooh.
Ooh, hoping you're all right
I don't
there.
really like that name because it's a bit lame, isn't it? Just need a cooler name for it. Yeah, I mean, basically, here's what... this is kind of the next level for you, Kara, and for other players who've been playing for a little while. Once you've got the cards under your belt, I mean, you now know the relative strength of different hands, don't you? You understand, you know, the problems with Ace King, the strengths of Ace.
Yeah,
strengths
I
of
would
Ace
say
King,
I've got a bit of a handle
when you
on
can
that.
play fives, when you can, and that kind of thing. You're pretty much down with that. So the next stage is how do you make chips in a way that has nothing to do with the cards? And this is a lifelong pursuit. Aces in the big line for sausages.
Yeah.
This is a lifelong pursuit because there are endless ways to make chips without the cards. But we know that the more chips you can make without the cards, the more difference you're making to your profit.
Exactly, and this is what I want to know. How do I do that?
Well, you know, stick with me. You'll find out some things.
Stick to your kid and yeah.
You'll go far. One of the ways is to take advantage, well, the key way a lot of the time is to take advantage of players' weakness. If somebody limps into a pot, if they don't raise when they come into a pot, fundamentally, what are they saying?
I don't have much, I just want to see what's going to happen.
Correct. What would be the least, I can't form a sentence. What would they not like to happen? I know this is really basic, but it's just worth going through it from a really logical point of view. What would they not want to happen?
Have someone make a big raise.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're faced with 2 or 3 people, oh, look at this big hand for no 6L, set of queens, he can check this. He can slow play this. He's taking a bit of a risk that Wizards have got 2 hearts, but it's so unlikely Wizards got 2 hearts because he's heads up. He could have slow played that. I don't have a problem with him not. There's never anything wrong with betting out, but
Nice hand.
yeah, I think probably had a chance to make a bit more of it. So basically, you're taking advantage of weakness. Anytime you raise limpers. Now, the reason it works well out of the small blind and out of the big blind is that you don't have players behind you, because the great danger is, if you're in middle position, a couple of you limp in, you raise. The great danger is that somebody behind you's got a genuinely big hand and they either call or come over the top of you. But if you're in late position, there is an opportunity to pick up some cheap money. There's a couple of limps in the pot.
I just limped in. I didn't limp in at all.
You completed in the small blind,
Because I thought, you know, maybe flush draw. Who knows? It's small. It's only going to cost me 10. But they are too small, really. So
exactly what we're thinking about here. You had an opportunity there, I think, after he's checked. Maybe the flop. Depends how aggressive you want to be. After he's checked the flop, possibly after he's checked the turn, to put a bet in and ask him a question.
Yeah, I suppose so. I thought he might have been trapping me, but if I thought so, why not ask the question?
Ask the question.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right.
Don't make that your start point. Don't worry about people trapping you. That's my advice. You'll know when people trap you because they'll raise you.
Right.
And, you know, that will happen.
And you just get out of it.
That can be annoying.
Yeah.
But you'll make more money over your poker lifetime stealing pots from people that check than you will lose from being trapped.
Okay, yep.
Significantly
Very
more.
true. And this is what I need to know, how to make the money when I don't even have the hand.
Checking usually means weakness.
Good, yeah.
So you just want to try and take advantage of weakness.
Yeah. That was a good positional place I could have done it. Take advantage of your opponent's weakness.
Yeah.
Exploit it whenever possible.
Is this good for your karma? That's the question.
Yeah.
Raise from Miss Volta.
The Queen V herself. Oh, aces for Gemstar there. That's very nice.
Is he going to get any action? He is. No 6L defends the big blind. Wow, massive hand for Gemstar.
No kidding.
And he's played it cutely. No 6L's caught a little something. He's got the flush draw. Gemstar now needs to raise and not play about too much, which he has. And no 6L should now put this down. He's 4-1 to catch the flush. He's getting odds.
Oh.
Well, he's caught the flush, and this is a catastrophe for Gemstar.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's how we made so many chips. That's great. Wow. That's a very nice flush.
Let's just see what happens here, because we might have a... Can Gemstar throw this away? Can he throw it away? This is a real test for him. He did throw it away.
Oh,
no,
wow.
he didn't. He called, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That always confuses me because it goes so fast.
Yeah.
He did call. I wonder, Gemstar, if you're watching, poker at pokernightlive.co.uk, I wonder if he thought about throwing those aces away.
Yeah, I bet he did. But what did you think No 6L had? What did you put him on that you would actually call that?
Well, what he had, which was the flush. Yeah, he had the flush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you say?
So why did Gemstar call that?
Well, it's one of those situations, isn't it, where it's incredibly... He's got a set of aces.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard to throw it away.
But if you put your opponent on a better hand...
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
I know, I'm trying to figure out what the thinking was.
Well, the problem is, Gemstar beats everything else. Apart, I mean, there were probably some straights there, but with the play of the hand, it was pretty unlikely that Not 6L had a straight. And Gemstar's beating everything else. So there is the possibility that No 6L is representing the flush. And
True.
Gemstar's problem is, if he gives up the aces and he's wrong, then that's a big, big error because he's given up a big pot. So that's what he's thinking. Now, I don't know. It's why I'd be interested to hear from Gemstar. I don't know if he contemplated laying them down or not. It's one of those situations, fascinating hand, one of those situations where maybe he did have that little voice telling him it's a great hand, but it's gone wrong. I think one of the things that made it possible for him to throw it down, actually, was that notice he sold bet 320 at the end.
Right.
Which is one of two things. Either it's the flush, because it's exactly the bet you'd make that's a flush, or it's a very, very clever bluff. Because he hasn't gone all in, he hasn't put Gemstar all in. It's kind of a, why don't you call it? It's not that expensive, children. Come into the woods. So maybe he could have sensed the flush there, but very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult. And he's been stealing, a fair few blinds as well. No 6-0.
Well, this is, the advantage of aggression. Care from the small blind.
Has middle pair.
Betting out with middle pair. Exciting.
Well, it cost me 60. I thought it was worth it.
Now, why were you doing it?
I had middle pair. I didn't think they had anything. One was the big blind, who just came in with the big blind, and the other one limped in.
Kind of swelling with pride.
Aw, thanks.
Chest just got all big. Absolutely right.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad my thinking's starting
Absolutely
to
right.
run along the right track.
Particularly on that flop where there's an ace. Because
I didn't think that,
very unlikely, they're not very unlikely, but they're less likely to have an ace and have limped.
That's what I thought.
And B, when you bet out with an ace on board, people immediately worry that you have the ace yourself.
Yeah.
So you will very often get them to pass, hands.
And besides, I was asking the question if maybe they did have the ace, but I wasn't going to know until I asked the question.
That's right. Good chance you had the best hand. I like it.
Thanks.
I like it, Karen.
Thanks very much. I don't think it was all that bad, really.
I'm trying to remember some poker quotes. We're doing poker quotes tonight, guys. Poker at pokernightlive.co.uk if you've got one. I remember when Stu Unger won his first World Championship and he won $800,000, and the interviewer said, "What are you going to do with the money?" And he said, "Gamble it." He was 21 or something. Actually, he was a bit older than that. No, he's a bit older than that. Sorry, my mistake. I think he was in his mid-20s.
Whoa. Trips on the board.
Trips on the board, and full house for Miss Fortavova. Only bets 80.
Just trying to pull Robo Squirrel in?
Yeah, try and pull him in for a bit more would be my argument.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a Lane Flack quote, which I really like, which is quite hard to remember without having it in front of you. But it's, "I've won millions at poker, not from knowing what my opponent had, but from knowing what he thought I had."
Ah.
That third level of poker thinking that I'm fond of talking about.
Yes, I see. It's most interesting.
Well,
No, that's right. Think about what you've got. Then think about what they've got, and then think about what they think you've got.
That's right. There you go.
To put it succinctly.
So let's show that in action for everyone. When you had the middle pair of queens, think about what you've got. You've got middle pair.
Yeah.
So it's a good but not great hand.
Yep.
You need to find out where you are.
Exactly.
Think about what they've got. Nobody's raised before the flop. You're facing a big blind and one limper. Very likely they don't have great hands, so you may have the best hand. Think about what they think you've got. Well, there's an ace on board. You've bet out on the flop. They're very likely to put you on an ace, and they may fold a queen.
Very nice illustration.
That's what we're about here. That's how we roll.
Oh, very nice illustration. I think you deserve a bit more Milky Bar for that. I think you've started something.
God, you're good to me.
Because they are your Milky Bar, really. So.
I tell you what, at home, boys and girls, it's one of those big ones.
Nice.
One of the big Milky
I think you've
bars.
started something with that. The viewers are emailing in saying they wish they had some Milky Bar now. And they're calling you the Milky Bar Kid.
It would be better if they emailed in and thought about the 3 levels of poker analysis and how it could improve their game. But whatever, you can't win them all, can you?
This is true. This is true. We had an email from Sarah Allison. Said, "Great show and Brill presenting." I think that meant you, because you are
I think
Brill.
that means you, to be honest.
No.
Kara. You're the presenter.
Well, actually, she's just doing the whole bigging us up so that she got her email read out.
So works that.
I know. They don't realise we just read out everyone's emails. Pretty much. Well, I do. I figure if they take the time to email in, we should read them.
If only we had the time.
Yeah, well, she just wondered what you're on tonight, and if it's the Milky Bars, can she have some too?
What I'm on?
Yeah. I think everyone's enjoying the poker
Slightly
corner.
uncomfortable wooden chair, which I have sat on for far too long in my life. Yeah, it is Milky Bar.
Gotta love the Milky Bar.
Kara, we seem to have played a reasonable amount of this tournament, and you're where you started.
I know, I'm not really moved there, have
No.
I? I've lost a few blinds, I've gained a few blinds.
You're up, you're down.
I know, but not very much either way. So, yeah. So I need to figure this out. This whole idea of being able to steal the blinds, work positionally, scoop up some of those limpers, you know, make some chips off of the cards I don't actually have.
Right. Yeah, you do. You need to work on it, but you
Mm-hmm.
need to. Poker's a very difficult balancing act because you've always got to have your fundamentals. You've got to know the value of your cards. You've got to know how strong your hand is, and you've got to combine that. Particularly if you're going to play tournament poker a lot, you've got to combine that with an ability to gather chips that you have no right to get
Yeah.
based on your cards.
Yeah.
No 6L again, making the raise.
Yeah.
That wasn't a steal. He's got ace 10 and nobody's raised, and so there's a decent likelihood he's got the best hand.
Okay.
That doesn't count as a steal in my mind.
Right. He wasn't trying to bluff anyone off anything. It was a genuine...
I've got the best hand.
Yeah.
Time to invest money.
Gotcha. Yep. All good, all true. Here I am in the big blind with 6-5 offsuit. Not the greatest of hands. But I think I'll wait to see what happens. Do they check around to me? No.
Well, no 6L's got chips, and
Yeah.
he's using them to good effect, putting the pressure on.
He is not afraid to use them.
And I'm not supposed to read the emails ahead of time because that spoils the surprise, but good to see Nick's Poker Corner getting a bit of love.
It is getting some of that love.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I make no secret about my ambitions. I see a series in it. I see me in a big leather chair, probably some string music, a library setting with a burning log fire.
Yep. Welcome to Nick's Poker Corner.
Gemstar's on the fight back.
He certainly
Crippled
is.
by that cracked set of aces to 110, I think he went down to, up to 440. Back in with a shout.
Come back, kid. No. I don't know. If ace-3, maybe I could have actually stolen the blinds by putting a bigger...
Well, you've limped there.
I've limped in. Exactly.
Why have you limped?
Because it's not a particularly strong hand. However, considering I'm in such a late position, I was just being nervous. I should have just put in a bet and hoped that the blinds had nothing and folded.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I see that now.
With an ace high as well, it's not even... It's barely a steal because against two random hands in the blinds, there's a decent chance your ace high is the best hand.
Okay.
So you could be stealing with the best hand as well.
Yeah.
Normally you should raise there. The alternative, which we talked about earlier today, is
Oh, I should have...
done that one.
Yeah, we were doing a bit of...
Maybe we shouldn't be telling
No,
people
poker
our
tuition
plans.
earlier before the show started.
I'll just tell them half the plan, which is...
Yeah, don't tell them the whole
I'm not
plan.
going to tell them the whole plan. But if you're in a game where, or at a table in a situation where you don't think the blinds are likely to fold to a raise, then you can limp in late position and see what happens. Because if you're making a bet that's a steal, right? And my definition of a steal would be something that's trying to win the blinds there and then. So you want them to fold. Well, if the blinds don't fold, if the blinds are, weak players who call a lot, or if they're short stacked, so they're much more likely to call with substandard hands, whatever the conditions are, if they're much less likely to fold, then it's not a steal, is it? It's not going to work. And if it's not going to work, it's a bad tactic, so we shouldn't be doing it. So in that situation, if you thought the blinds weren't likely to fold, a limp may work better for you, and then see if you hit the flop. Fishing for chips with the tens versus the ace-king, a classic matchup. And Gemstar's probably going to play this, I'd have thought.
Yeah.
And we're 50-50 for the money. Fish and chips big favourite now.
Oh.
Only an ace or a king for Gemstar. Oh, he's gone. He is gone.
And that's it.
You're not finishing eighth.
Nope. Oh, and thank goodness for that.
The first
Seriously.
obstacle
Thank
overcome.
goodness. Yeah. There it is. Thank you very much, Gemstar. Much appreciated.
Much appreciated.
There we go. Yeah, and in terms of the whole King 10 debate that we were talking about earlier, and I'm just to bring it back to that for a second, I'm just, as we're watching the game, read out an email we got from Hoofy, because he sent in another one just saying, "Hi guys, Hoof again." He says, "I remember moving in when in an identical position with 3-4 off," which, I mean, I did it with King 10, he did it with 3-4 off. He says, "I was lucky enough to hit trip threes on the flop. I got called by a guy with King Queen and got criticism in the chat box. But when it was shown on TV, Dr. Tom lambasted the guy who called with King Queen for his bad play, which was very satisfying." So there you go. So sometimes it looks like the wrong thing to do. People put it in the chat box as the wrong thing to do, and you've just got to hold tight to your poker principles, right?
Be true to yourself.
Yeah, my poker principles are a bit shaky. Yeah. So I find it difficult.
Your instincts are developing. And
getting there anyways.
Dr. Tom speaks the word. He knows this game inside and out.
He speaks the word.
Speaks the word. And,
word up.
Of course, he's right. It's exactly what we're talking about. And I was getting all steamed up about at the top of the show. So we see tens versus ace-9. No 6L's a good spot here. He's got all the chips and he's got the cards.
Yeah.
Only an ace or some sort of running, or a 10 now, straight for wizard. No 6L has two of the tens, so much less likely. And wizard will leave us. We're down to 6, Cara Scott.
I didn't go out 7th.
Well done. It's getting better. The point about moving in with the 3-4 off, as Hoofy does there, is what we were talking about earlier, which is if he gets called by a pair that's bigger than a 3 or a 4, then he's in a bad situation. If he gets called by 2 overcards, which is going to happen, that's what people get dealt much more than matching cards, he's only going to be maybe a 65-35 underdog. So he's not that far behind. And people get all wound up when, ace-king loses to 7-2. Well, it's roughly, depending on suits and stuff, it's roughly 7-4. It is not the biggest long shot in the world. You're never that far behind pre-flop, which is why it's better to move in than it is to sit waiting around for a perfect hand, because you've got 2 ways to win, guys. This is why I keep coming back to these same poker fundamentals. If you're the aggressor, you've got 2 ways to win. They put their hand down or their cards come out and you have the best hand. You must try and be the aggressor. If you let your chip stacks dwindle, you'll get into a situation where you have no choice.
Which I've done. I've let my chip stack dwindle by missing out on opportunities to take down the blinds or to win some pots where I probably could have, actually.
Yeah, you have. In your defence, you have been for the last few hands on a table where one of the players is really trying to leverage a big chip stack. No 6L is raising with almost everything. Didn't raise the ace-8 there. You've got the 8s.
I've only got 640.
Oh, look at this behind you.
I know.
Oh, Cara.
I know. But I figured, oh God, I've only got 640.
No.
It's a pair.
Well, you've done the right thing.
It's a middle pair.
You've done the right thing. You only got 4 times the big blind.
I know. Definitely in danger.
You're lucky to get the 8s.
I really was. I felt lucky to get the 8s. There's no way I wasn't going to play that.
You're extremely unlucky there's a bigger pair behind you.
Yeah.
You need an 8. You still have a 20% chance to win when the cards are turned over. But unfortunately, you're basically out.
Yeah, I'm down to 80 chips now.
Well, there's no coming back from there.
No. This is,
8s again.
Hanging up my head in shame.
It's like a council estate.
You know what? I thought it was still the same.
By 2 fat ladies.
Yeah. Oh.
What?
I thought it was the same hand for a minute there. I was like, what? What?
Well,
Pushed all in again. Why not? I've got 80 chips. Who's not going to call that, right?
yeah, you found it hard to bet less.
Mm-hmm. I could have bet less.
You couldn't.
No, I couldn't.
No, it's illegal. Can't bet less than illegal.
I know.
Well, you've got a good chance, and this helps. This is going to create dead money for you if Fishing for Chips folds.
Fold, 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 fold. Hey.
Great, so your head's up. You've got a roughly 60-40 chance. Come on, the 8s.
My fingers are being crossed here. And much dancing about the room.
Your fingers are being crossed. You're basically gripping the desk.
Yeah, I know. I think I broke something. I've got 240
Yeah,
chips.
240. Oh, Ace King.
I know. Seriously, how lucky is that? People are going to be emailing in and saying that the cards are rigged, but they weren't.
Good play.
That's not good play. That's good luck.
Good play getting the Ace King after the 8s.
Yeah, after the 8th.
Exciting
8th
though,
and
right?
then the 8th, yeah. So I'm all in again, obviously.
On the comeback trail.
Yeah, doing the best I can, thinking, oh no, look at that, pair of queens.
That's now in trouble. You've got 6 cards in the deck to get you out of this.
And there's one of them.
That'll work.
I got a pair of aces. Oh, I got tripped.
Insult to injury.
Oh, God, at this point, I think I was dancing around a bit.
Back to 720, back in the game.
I know, that's shocking, isn't it?
No, it's not shocking.
It's
cool.
shocking.
All you've done is won 2 pots in a row. This is why we always say no limit hold'em. You're never out until you're officially out.
Chip in a chair. All those guys were heckling me last week for being chip in a chair. I was down to 80 then as well.
They dream of having your class, let me tell you.
Oh no, I was playing rubbishly. But this time, I'm doing the best I can.
So you're going to pass that. So you're still obviously not in a great spot.
Yeah, but Jack 10, small blinds. Let's see what happens to coming around to me. Miss V got Ace King. She's
Now, if it had been passed round
down.
to you, what would you have done?
I wish I could remember what I did. I think
No,
I let it
it's
go.
going to get raised. You're going to let it go. But if it hadn't been, if it had been passed round to you, what would you have
Oh,
done?
I would have probably pushed all in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Jack 10, if everyone else has passed it around to me, then yeah, I'd only have 2 people acting, or one person acting after me. There's no way. I wouldn't push all in with that. Very exciting. Yep, so I'm trying to look at my cards, look at what people are doing pre-flop, what they're saying to me with their bets and raises and whatnot and so forth.
Yeah.
And make my decisions accordingly.
No 6 Hours played a very aggressive game, hasn't he?
He really has, yeah.
And I bet he was your least favourite player on the table.
Yeah, and it's nothing personal, no 6 Hours.
No. I'm saying it as a lesson, which is, what do you not like facing when you play poker? You don't like facing aggressive players.
Yep.
See, again, he's won a pot with the worst hand. So there's a clue here, guys.
Yeah.
What do we want to do when we play poker?
Be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
But it's
because
so dangerous.
other players don't want to play aggressive players. But
So
which would you
dangerous.
rather be?
Whenever I try to play aggressive, I seem to just
She's
get
in with
thrown
Ace
out.
Jack.
I am. I'm in with Ace Jack.
Takes
This is
the
my
blinds,
big
surviving.
comeback. Oh yeah.
Actually, you're kicking
I
back-to-back
know.
hands.
It's weird, isn't it?
And what do you do now?
I'm
You've
going
got
all in.
4 times the big blind.
I don't know. I've got barely anything here, do I? I've got to go all in.
You have. Absolutely
Even
right.
in early position, first
Correct.
position, in fact, it's just... Yeah. Come on, get rid of it. Get rid of it. And I think I've just won so many in a row.
Well, he's thinking about calling here because he could bust you,
Yeah, no.
but he doesn't.
And yet he doesn't, and you're going to have to wait to find out how that ended after this break. So we are going to go to a break now, and after we come back, we've got final table of the MTT. We've got the poker player shootout final. And we've got more great poker and lots of emails, so you're not going to want to miss
It's too
that, are you?
much. I was kicking back.
We're never going to
We're
fit
gonna
it all
up it
in.
again.
Take a deep breath. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hello and welcome back to Poker Night Live. We've got lots and lots and lots to get to tonight. I love it when you pose. I expect you to kind of point off into the distance as well. Catalog pose, very
Might
nice.
do that later.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you see it where I finished in the tournament, shall we say, in the Beat the Presenter slot, which we're about to go to right now.
If you weren't with us, she was down to 80 chips.
That was me. Down to 80 chips. I've come back a bit. Let's see what happened.
I'd written you off.
Had you?
No, I'm just saying that for extra drama.
God.
I thought you were going to win when you were down later.
Queen's all in. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I've got
You
960.
picked up queens. Now we want a call from sausages, don't we?
Yeah, but you know what? How lucky was I with the hands? Jack,
Well,
queen, ace,
there.
king, queen, queen, 8, 8.
It's like saying Gary Lineker's goals were all tap-ins. He had to be there.
Yeah.
You've hit the set to make it even worse for sausages, and you terminated him.
Bye-bye. And I like sausages.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Well played. You're a star.
And suddenly, your second chip position. This is no limit hold'em for you, boys and girls. I never, ever want you to give up in a tournament.
I had. And you know what? If you hadn't been sat beside me and you hadn't said to me, don't give up, I would have done. I probably would have just gone, bleh, and lost it all. But I was playing, and this is the little story we were going to tell earlier. Yes. I was playing a few days ago online, on the TV tables, in fact, but it was a bit late at night, so they didn't actually show this game. And I was down to 80 chips, and I came back, and I actually won the tournament after being down to 80 chips.
Which is
so it happens sometimes.
Cool.
It happens, yes it does.
And you are in danger of repeating that. To do it once is amazing. To do it twice, it's a little bit scary.
It's becoming a thing of mine. Second chip leader.
Second chip leader, and the nature of these things, and you've got a tricky decision here.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting decision point.
I wasn't sure what to do here. I really wasn't.
No, and I think it's a tricky one because
I've been pushing all in, and I've been taking them down.
All in, and the thing is, I don't know. I mean, maybe you should have gone all in there. It's very difficult. The reason it's difficult is that the two blinds are short stacked. The blinds now 163.20. Two blinds are short stacked, and the likelihood that they'll call you is so much higher.
Yes.
And so the danger there is, do you want to play in a situation where you could lose over half your chips?
Yeah.
And we're still 2 players away from cashing. So that's the problem with having King Jack in that situation. The alternative argument would be, as we see fishing for chips all in against Votavova, the flush card comes, so Votavova's going to win this. The counter argument would be, keep putting the pressure on. If they haven't got good hands, they'll still fold because they're desperately trying to get into the money.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. It's really difficult, and
I think it is.
I'm not sure that was a totally cut and dried one either way.
Okay.
I definitely don't want you to limp in that situation.
Right. It's not nearly strong enough, is it?
Well, look at this. No 6Ls.
Dun, dun, dun.
Still being aggressive, and has hit the 5. Well, you've cashed. Kara Scott, you've cashed.
I cashed.
Well, and that would, you know, we don't want to play results or spend all night saying let's not play results, but that just shows you an example of where the first argument works, where you didn't play that hand, you didn't get into trouble, you've still got all your chips, and 2 players have bust out quickly.
Right.
Which there is a likelihood of them doing because the blinds are high.
Yeah.
Now you're 3-handed. 10-8, you push all in. Hey.
It's suited.
Aggressive lady.
I'm trying to be more aggressive. This is, you know.
But listen, you're now short-handed. The rules have changed.
Right.
It's very likely the other 2 players don't have anything. You've got 5 times the big blind. It's the same principle. You don't want to play those blinds because they're going to take you down into territory where no 6L can call you without damaging himself too much.
Very true.
So that's good play moving in. Miss Votavova, similar principle. Will no 6L play? No, he won't. You've got a really poor hand.
Yeah, I do. I've got a poor, poor hand.
I think it would be taking it too far to play that.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just a little
She's
bit.
already asked that question. She's pushed the
Well,
chips
she's not going
in
anywhere because she can't afford to fold.
No, exactly.
No 6L, Ace King. Just makes a double the blind raise. He wants a customer here.
Not going to be me. Not going to be Miss V. A little too smart for that, she is.
A little too smart.
Mrs. Votavova.
So you've got the same situation. Your situation has not improved because you've now paid the blinds which you stole before. So now I think you've got to try and steal them again.
Yeah.
Because it's the same principle. Oh, you do. Hey, go on the Scot.
Go on the Scot. I'm doing the best I can with this, you know. I'm just lucky he had nothing. Because I really do think No 6L would have called me if he could, if he had anything.
Yeah. He probably would. Now the blinds are doubled and you're all in trouble. You're all now short stacked. And you fold, unfortunately, not picking up a hand, and we're down to a
Yeah.
narrow crisis point for you, I'm afraid.
I know. Again, and 3-2 offsuit, and he's pushed all in. I would have to be insane.
Well, Votovova's now thinking she might have the best hand, but also she knows that you're short stacked. Now, this hand, I believe you should go. Well, you've got an ace, so you're going to play. You do play. Well, no 6L's going to call because it's only costing him another 400.
Yeah. But
Hey, but you've hit.
I hit the ace, so that's good.
That's good.
That's good. And you know what? It felt good to just to spank him a little bit. It did.
I'm sure it felt good for no 6L too. Do you remember when you had 80 chips?
I remember. Oh, I remember those days. Remember that?
Look at you now.
Now I have more than 80.
Now I'm afraid the variance here is absolutely massive. The variance here is so big. Depends what cards you get dealt. Can you afford to pass? The
That's what
blinds
I'm
are so
thinking.
big. You got 1780 left.
Crap hand though.
I think you can pass this.
Good, because that's what I thought as well.
Yeah, just. It's a skinny one, but I think you can just pass
Yeah.
it. And no 6L's got the ace.
Yeah. Ugh.
Were you enjoying this? Because it's good to play three-hand. It's quite exciting, I think.
It was incredibly exciting. I could barely breathe.
I noticed that. I was a
could
bit worried
barely
for you at
breathe.
one point.
I know. I was a bit worried
Now,
for
here,
me. That I might pass out.
you probably should go all in if there's a chance no 6L will fold. As it happens, you'd have walked
Yeah.
into a big hand. So it was a good decision having seen the cards.
Yeah. They were. I thought just too low, but maybe I should have. In retrospect, even not looking at his
cards. The problem
cards,
is
maybe
that
I
the
should have
blinds are
done.
so big, it's very unlikely that he'll fold.
Yeah. I kind of thought I had to go all in here with ace queen.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
No brainer. Good. Good. Good.
And you're the best hand. It's got better. You're going to be chip leader. Chip leader,
my
Kara
God!
Scott. You're getting
So much
excited
fun.
again.
I love poker.
She declared.
I don't know how I managed to get these hands though.
Ooh, tough decision.
I know. I
Ace
thought
king. Ace
there's
king
no
for all the
way
chips.
he's trying to steal my chips. He's just trying to take down the blinds. I pushed.
I pushed.
I pushed, and let's see what happens. There's queens and
We need
eights
that
and
ace or that king.
sevens. Oh
Where is it?
no! And it didn't come.
Disappointing.
Disappointing, but I was still excited. I don't care. I've still got 60 chips there, but let's be honest.
Who could possibly come back from 80
60 chips.
60 chips,
You
impossible.
can't do it twice.
80, you can do it. 60, just impossible.
Yeah, that's just crazy talk.
Crazy talk.
Crazy talk. Whew, that was exciting. Reliving it all, that was exciting. So there you go. So no 6L went on to win that. Sorry to Miss V and no 6L. We cannot show the end of that.
Well played, though. You
'cause-
played a very good, strong, aggressive game.
Totally did, yes. But we're really short on time today. We've got so much to fit in, so bear with us because we are going to go to the Poker Player Shootout. I believe it's the final table. How exciting.
It's too much, Kara.
I know.
Shafty, who we were watching earlier, who won his semi-final that we had to interrupt, came to his final table. Well played, Shafty. Unfortunately, first out on the final table. He does get $50 for his trouble, and it was free to enter. That can't be bad, can it?
Can't be
so
bad.
this is the final of the Poker Player Shootout, Poker Player magazine, which is brilliant. It's got columnists in there like me and other people, apparently. Still haven't made the front cover. Can't understand it.
I was
Can't-
reading it on the
cannot
airplane
understand it.
because I was like, I know this guy. He writes for this,
Yeah.
magazine.
Yeah.
I felt very
Thank you,
privileged.
Kara. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All joking and blatantly pathetic self-promotion aside, the point of this tournament is that the winner of the shootout, and there'll be 6 more of them, guys, so look out for them. The winner will take a seat in our live grand final. There is $1,000 shared among these 8 players, 500 for first. I've turned into Arkwright. Tonight, but then the winner will go on to play in our studio, in the Poker Zone studio. You may meet me. I apologise. Nothing you can do about that. But apart from that, it will be a great prize because you'll get to come here and play on the TV and have a shot at a share of an $8,000 grand final prize pool.
My jaw has dropped.
Pick it up, Kara. This is reality.
Ooh, and there's much more to come, indeed. Indeed.
Indeed.
Indeed. And for those of you who have sent in your emails, we haven't forgotten you. There are quite a few, and we're going to try and do them over top of the poker here. So do watch this poker, because this is quite exciting, and Nick will stop me if something comes on that he needs to commentate on. Otherwise, I'm going to read out some emails.
Email yourself.
All right.
Crazy.
Crazy. Here we go. This one is from G. Samaris. Now, you sent this in, oh gosh, a couple hours ago, so I hope you're still awake. Hi, Nick and Kara. Just a quick query. I've been playing $1 sit and goes for about 8 months now. My initial deposit was £20, and I've got £80 in my bank account. I think I'm ready to move up a level. What sort of bankroll do you think I need for sit and goes? The next level up is £3. Playing $1 or £1 sit and goes. Started with £20, now up to 80.
That's fantastic showing. Good for you. I was on with James, who I defer to in matters of bankroll, because he's made his living as a professional poker player and sports gambler for over 20 years, and bankroll management is something he knows lots about. He reckoned that for sit and goes you needed a lot more money than people think. It was our theme of the night. As we see, both players have got the same hand here.
Ooh.
Will either one of them be able to bully the other off?
Will they indeed?
Will they indeed. And our theme of the night was the fact that people play too high. People don't realise that in order to withstand the variance that can happen in poker, you need an awfully big bankroll, bigger than people think.
Okay, how big?
Well, I'm just desperately trying to remember, because I don't play enough sit and goes for this to be a factor for me.
Right.
I think he recommended 100 times the entry fee for a sit and go. I reckon 50 is probably enough so that you'll get a good feeling for whether you're making money or not. This is a bad situation for Gordy. Flop the top pair, Mini Coop with the better top pair. The paired board might save him. Gordy might believe that Mini Coop's got a 9 or a better jack. No, he's not listening to the raise. Listen to the other player's bets. Gordy's going to lose some chips there. So I reckon 50 times the entry fee. It depends. It's just so difficult with bankrolls. It depends what you're talking about. If you're talking about playing that at that level and withstanding the swings for an indefinite amount of time, then you probably do need getting up to 100 times the entry fee. But what you can do is you can dip your toe in the water. Why not start... I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the email. Who sent that one in?
Samaras.
Samaras, why not try some $3? What about alternating between $3 and $1 level you're playing at? And the key thing with this is that in order to get meaningful statistics in poker, you have to play for an awful lot. I was always told when I was coming up, 2,000 hours you needed before you could properly analyse your results, which is a lot of play. But in all honesty, you probably know yourself whether you're competitive at the level you're playing at. If you're completely honest with yourself, you probably know whether you're making money at that level far before you get to a point where it's statistically significant. Because you know if you're better than the game, or if you're worse than the game, if you can be honest with yourself. So, I mean, I think you should try the high level, but you don't have to suddenly not play your $1 sit and goes anymore. Play the odd $3. See if the game's significantly different. See if you feel as comfortable and as profitable in that $3 game. Good luck with it, I would say. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely. I mean, if you've whacked up your account there by 4 times, and it's not based on 1 or 2 results because you've now got 80 times the entry fees. It's based on a lot of results over 8 months. I think you've got to try the next level. Yeah, and good luck with it, Samaras. Yeah, sounds like some of your strategies are right on the money as well. So good luck to you. Let us know how you get on. Pokermark making the check raise bluff, representing the Queen. I like a check raise bluff. Don't see enough of it. It's a very strong play. B16 limping into the pot. And there we go. We talked about this earlier, Kara. Taking advantage of limpers. Slick Mick sees that limp by B16 as weakness, makes the raise. It's a good raise. Unfortunately for him, Arcane's got a real hand in the big blind, but that won't happen very often. The key for Slick Mick now is to get away from this and not to call and see the flop. That would be poor. You don't want to call and see this flop, Slick Mick. It's for 25% of your chips. Well done. Arcane takes it down. Blinds at 25 and 50, slowly creeping up. The next level will be 5100, and players need to think about that because that will start to have an impact. One for Father Ted, sadly now deceased.
Oh. Big fan of Father Ted.
Yeah, it was a real shame that he died because he'd worked really hard and then Father Ted was finding success and then he was only in his early 40s or something, wasn't he?
That is so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of blind play here between Father Ted and Gordy. Whoever bets will probably take this. Gordy's only got bottom pair.
Right, just keeping in the vein of taking a look at some emails.
We got a lot, Karen.
We have so many, so I'm going to push on with these. This is from Nialo27. He says, hi, I was wondering what you think of my pre-flop play of raising every hand that I'm going to be playing by 4 times the big blind, if there's been no raise before me. I'll do this with every hand I play from aces to 7-4 offsuit. What do you think?
I think consistency in how much you raise is good. A lot of pro players vary their raises because they think it makes them harder to read. I doubt that. I think that human beings fall into patterns even if they think they're being unpredictable, and I think by far the hardest thing to read is always raising the same amount.
Right.
Because how can your opponents possibly know when you're stealing, when you've got a real hand if you're not varying it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
They can't. So I would keep your raises consistent, and they can be anything from 2 times the big blind to 5 times the big blind, depending on your style. I think 4 times the big blind is... I've sort of changed my view on this over the last couple of years, and I think nowadays on the internet, especially in tournaments, you shouldn't actually raise much more than 3 times the big blind because...
Yeah?
Yeah, because it does the same job online.
But it's less dangerous.
And it's less, you're exposing less of your chips. And also when the blinds get big later in a tournament, in a lot of these tournaments, you only need to raise by 2 or 2.5 times the big blind. But you're doing the key thing right, which is being consistent in how much you raise first off. So that'll make you hard to read.
Okay, good advice.
Oh, Slick Mick, 3 queens now. And Gordy had the ace for the flush as well as his ace-king, but he's now busted. And he will survive in the tournament.
Yes, he will. Well, we have one here from Making Jam, who is one of the lovely viewers who often gives up a seat for me when I need to sit down and beat the presenter, and thank you very much for that. He says, hello to the lovely Kara and the Milky Bar Kid. Great show as always. Just a quick point about sit-and-go strategy. He says, my move last night, mine being Kara's, the presenter, talking about myself here in the first person. He says, right, your move last night with the King 10 led to much comment. Can I suggest that perhaps a more important point is to try to find out what you'd been doing wrong to find yourself in a position where you were so short-stacked? Now, that's a very good point.
That is a good point.
That's a really good point. And it's exactly what I've been saying about where I've been hemorrhaging chips, or where I've just not been making chips and not taking advantage. So that's a good point. Says, I was looking at your play tonight, and for the first few levels, you played very, very few hands. I know that you've been given some good lessons in the game of poker and can judge the merits of a starting hand as well as any. But do you feel like it's starting to get close to the time where you should mix up your game a bit? I found something Dr. Tom suggested last year very helpful in learning to play more than just your average starting hand. Put some masking tape over the part of your screen where your cards are displayed and play the full game blind. It sounds like a good way to lose lots of money, but if you can learn from it, it'll change the way you look at the game. It changed me into a winning player. Playing short stacked is never much fun, and I like to have fun when I play. I'd rather go out early trying to win a pot than be forced into playing a hand I'm not comfortable with. I hope that makes sense. P.S. Nick's Poker Corner is some of the highest quality TV I've seen in ages.
Yes. Yes, it is, Making Jam.
Oh, yes, it is. It's nice to see he's found something else to do while he runs in fear of Beat the Presenter. Ever going to play another, Nick? Or won't Cass let you live it down if you lose? Oh, Making Jam, you started so well.
Do you know what I was going to say until you read the last bit? I was going to say that was the email of the night, because I think that's a great email, up until the last bit, which is just really, really sad.
Oh,
I mean,
painful.
Why lash out like that?
Painful.
If Nick's Poker Corner has taught us anything, it's that poker should be conducted in a spirit of love and general bonhomie and goodwill towards our fellow man, not hatred and name-calling.
Oh.
I didn't get to play Beat the Presenter because when it's amateur night, the lady plays.
Obviously, because I can't do the commentary by myself. It wouldn't be right.
When it's pro night, I usually sit in the host chair and the analyst plays. So that's all it is, Making Jam. And if you think I'm running away, we can play anytime you like, buddy.
Ooh.
What? He's thrown down the gauntlet. I'm picking it up. I will play him anytime he likes. But it's a great email. Great email.
It is.
And something for you to think about, Kara.
I really think it is, actually. That is something I will keep in mind, Making Jam. Thank you very, very much. Good point made.
Let's keep doing emails while this final of our Poker Player Shootout is in the early stages still. Yeah,
we've just lost one, so that's pretty early. We've got an email here from Terry in Epsom. It says, great award-winning show as always. See, they are taking note of the whole giving us, you know, lovely comments and then...
and that's good.
It's a good way to start an email. I do feel slightly icky about reading them out now. I feel like I don't know, being pandered to.
I've never got to that point.
Okay. He says, my quote in a bad beat situation, which I wrote myself, is, all's fair in love, war, and poker, but it doesn't numb the pain when I get rivered. Is there any free advice from Nick on an open-ended straight draw, out of position, in $1 and $2 cash games? How do you play them? I find them expensive.
Well, there's your answer. The problem with playing draws in No Limit Hold'em is twofold. The first problem is that somebody, because you can manipulate the size of the bet, another player can charge you an amount which makes your draw unprofitable. So say you're 4-1 to catch your draw on the river. If somebody charges you a bigger price than that, if somebody bets the size of the pot, that costs you, you would need a draw that was 2-1 or better to make it profitable to call. So very often it's not profitable to play them. The second problem is that if you call a bet on the flop, you may face an even bigger bet on the turn. So if you miss your draw on the turn, you'll then face a bigger bet. And the third problem is that people don't always pay them off. If the draw is something that the other player can spot, so there's a particular problem with flush draws, but does apply to some straight draws, then you call a bet and you don't even get paid when you hit the hand. So in general, draws in No Limit Hold'em are not great and not to be overplayed.
Yeah, people who chase straights and flushes arrive on planes and leave on buses.
There you go. There's our poker quote.
That's a good one.
In context, it is a good one. Next.
Yeah, next is from Skitsy. It says, hi, Nick and Kara. The reason that the raises were so big in the tournament that he was playing was because they were playing tighter than a, well, make up the phrase yourself, he says. So we were looking at a tournament that Skitsy played in earlier. So they were raising quite large, and we did make that comment. So he says it's because they were playing so incredibly tight.
Okay, well, I would argue that your logic is completely wrong then. If players are playing tight, you don't need to raise as much to get them to fold. So you should actually raise less than normal because you can expose few of your chips to get the same result. So I would disagree with you, Skitsy, and your interpretation of what was going on.
Next.
Next.
Okay, this one's from Mooksy.
Hello, Mooksy.
Mooksy
Not
says...
Makosi from Big Brother.
No, because that would just be a bit of a head spin, that one.
That would be weird.
That would be weird. Now, this is Mooksy. Mooksy says, hi, guys. A great show as always. Lots of valuable information given out and always gratefully received by us all. Gee, you're welcome. I'm exclusively an online limit player, but do dabble with no limit when playing the home games, which I'm not entirely comfortable with because the starting stacks are quite tight compared to the blinds. I've been invited to a no-limit game in a local pub, which is 4 tables of 8, where the last 2 on each table take their chips to the final table, where the top 3 of the original 32 get paid. It's 5,000 chips to start with 20-minute levels, starting at 25.50 blinds. My question to you is, what is the best way to play this tournament? Obviously, no limit versus limit is a huge difference, but with such low blinds at the start, is it worth sticking to my limit principles and then trying to adapt, or would you recommend playing differently? Any advice? Gratefully appreciated. Right,
Big
that's
hand on
Mooksy.
the TV, Cara. We've got Queens versus Kings and a key decision for B16. What a pass that is.
Oh,
Great pass by B16. My goodness. Well, we haven't seen that done very many times on the show. That's seriously impressive. If B16 goes on to win this tournament, that will be the play that got him there.
that's a key hand.
Most of the players on the table would have gone broke right there, but he managed to get away from Queens.
Good instincts.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. And hopefully, watching it back right now, he's going to be feeling quite pleased with himself as well. Quite pleased. And now he's got a Jack-Queen suited. Wonder if he can make some of those chips back with that. Slick Mick's got the Queen-King. He raised it up, and B16 just doesn't want to get involved in another hand where he's going to be paying off Slick Mick, I think. Now he's got King-Jack. See, that's not bad either. King-Jack suited.
Well, that was a bit of old school no-limit hold'em for me. The old school, the way that no-limit hold'em used to be played and taught before people started playing much wilder and this online calling everything started happening, was if you get re-raised with queens, it's the hardest decision in no-limit poker because queens are obviously a very strong hand and putting them down is very difficult, but people usually re-raise with hands like aces, kings and ace-king. The only hand that somebody might re-raise with that you beat is jacks. So it's a very, very difficult situation. Now that's changed a lot in the online era because players play much wilder and so there's a lot more hands they'll re-raise with. But B16's looked at that situation and he said, well, there's two possibilities here. Either I'm crushed because Slick Mick's picked up a massive hand, or he's picked up ace-king and I'm 50-50. And I don't want to gamble all of my chips at this stage in the tournament, in a winner-takes-all tournament.
Yeah.
And he's had the discipline to put a pair of queens, and we've seen on the TV that Slick Mick's got a pair of kings. And you have to say, we don't want to play results because, you know, I haven't done all the analysis. Maybe it wasn't the right decision. But with Slick Mick with the kings, he's basically avoided going break. That's the best play we've seen tonight.
Go on with that.
And I'm going to write about it in the magazine.
Are ya?
Yeah.
That's a great thing that we were watching just then.
It was very, very good. Gordy hits two pair, hits a full house.
Oh, yeah.
Holy tomatoes.
Holy tomatoes. Well, Mooksy, good luck in your...
Oh, I didn't answer the email.
No, that's all right. Good luck in your no-limit
Well, I should
tournament
answer
at the
the
pub.
email, my goodness.
Well, yeah, if you can, succinctly.
Succinctly, you're used to playing limit and you're moving to play no limit. I won't say specifically about the tournament because I haven't got time to go into the structure like that. But look at this, Gordy's flopped her straight.
Ooh.
And Father Ted gets away from the hand.
People are playing very
poker.
well.
Yeah, some good poker. If you're moving from limit to no limit, as I did, it's a big adjustment because the simple fact of the matter is that all of your chips are at risk every hand that you enter, and that's totally different from playing limit. Basically, you should call less. Limit's a game where you call a lot more. You should call less and bluff more in no limit as opposed to limit. And you should understand that your chips are at risk all of the time. So you should also play tighter in general. These are very general principles. It's hard for me to give you lots of advice because there's so much to say. Get a bit of practice playing no limit online. That's my tip before you go and play. Just so you can, because it's an attitude adjustment if you're used to playing limit. Playing some cheap or free no limit games. And let us know how you get on in the tournament.
Yeah, do that. Right, another email here. This one's Chris in Nottingham. Evening, guys. Great show. I've been playing online for about a year now and like to play low cards and small connecting cards in late positions on the basis of people betting with high cards. And it never ceases to amaze me that when I've hit the flop and the ace-king, ace-queen, etc. have missed, why is it so hard for them to put these cards down when they have nothing and continue to bet with ace-high and then pay me off big? I know this will not work every time, but when I have these cards and I've missed, I will put them down. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on this. If possible, cheers again. Great show. Well, well done. I think that shows great discipline. Just what you've been saying here on the Poker Player Shootout.
Well done, but it's also moronic. What are you doing emailing in and telling everyone? Now they'll all correct their play.
Oh.
I'm only teasing. No, yeah, absolutely right. One of the biggest mistakes we see time and again on the show is people hanging on to their ace, king and ace, queen after it's missed the flop. There's too many emails for you, aren't there, Karen?
I know. There's so many.
Great response. Thank you, guys.
It's great.
Absolutely. If that's working for you, that's great. And the only thing to be careful of is that you're putting players on a hand. You're saying he's got ace, king. Do you really know that? Because sometimes he'll have a big pair. So don't commit to your opponent having one hand and, you know, basing all of your actions on that. It's very rare that you can tell exactly what your opponent has. So you need to be a little bit careful with that. But you're absolutely right. People do hang on to ace, king and ace, queen when it misses the flop, and normally they shouldn't.
Okay, next email from Mikey.
Ding! Is it? It's like those bloody, you know. Ooh.
I know. Well, there's loads tonight, and
Okay.
I do feel bad not getting through them. Right, Mikey Braden says, this isn't a quote by a famous player, but I was once playing in a private game where a guy named Ramsey was incredibly tight. One of the other players stated, Ramsey, you're the only player I know who, when he changes gears, goes into reverse. I found it funny. I found it funny too. Thank you, Mikey Braden. That's a fantastic quote, and I like it.
We like it.
We do. And we've had an email from our very own Matt Broughton. And Matt, in case you are watching still with your bottle of Cabernet Shiraz, I have been vindicated with my King 10.
Oh, here we go.
Not going to say any more.
Battle of the presenters.
But there you go. He says, evening, Nick, evening, Kara. Just tuned in with my bottle of Cabernet Shiraz for company. In honor of Kara's quest for the end game information, I've been spending the last hour playing Heads Up Online. I've concluded it's not so much about blind aggression, but more about punishing weaknesses that gives you the edge. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm sure Nick will blag his way through. He says, I love you both, but mostly Kara and her mum. No, but Matt, seriously, my mum loves you too. Yeah. Matt the Jacket Broughton.
I'm Kara's mum's favourite, so we'll have no trying to steal affection. And can we move on? Because Matt's a presenter, so why he gets his email read out when there's... You know, come on.
I'm sorry.
He's absolutely right about Heads Up, though.
Yeah.
It's about punishing weakness. It's about finding weakness and taking advantage.
Excellent. All right. Email from Jonger says, hi, I was playing in the semi-final of the Poker Player Shootout. Table number he gives there. I was down to $5, but with a little luck, I was soon back up to around $1,500.
Never give up.
Never give up. Now, this is a game you should have been showing, he says. Well, we've had a lot going on here tonight, Jonger. We're doing the best we can. There's a lot of poker to be played. He says it deserves a mention. You know what? It so does. If you were down to 5 and then back up to 15, well done to Jonger. That's fantastic.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, that's fantastic. But he didn't make it to the final. He says he came 4th on his table. So good luck to the person who beat him out, which was Minnie Coop. And great show. Thanks for. Well, thank you, Jonger. And you're right. That does deserve a mention.
And it's had one.
Yes, it has. And there it is. That is the mention. And, okay, from one of our regular posters on the forum, this is Zitty. Zitty says, evening, guys and gals. Loving the show. You're talking about aggression being good. I was playing earlier on 2 tables and plodding along quite happily. I suffered a bad beat on 1 table, so I went onto the other table in a bad mood and proceeded to bully the table. So much so that I made a nice profit on the session. If I hadn't semi-tilted, then I'd have finished the session down. As it was, I had more fun than I've had for ages. Is tilt always a bad thing? Love, peace, and poker. From Zitty. Oh, thanks, Zitty.
Well, yeah, because what you're saying is that you were making bad decisions but getting lucky. So, yes, bad thing. We don't play results on this show, Zitty. Love you and everything, but if what you're saying is you were tilting so you're making bad decisions but it was working out for you, basically what you mean is you were getting lucky and hitting cards. Well, that's not going to happen most of the times you make bad decisions. So tonight, it wasn't a bad thing, but don't do it again.
Oh, you're being very stern.
Well, I have to be, Kara. It's the only language they understand. They know it's don't have love. They saw Nick's Poker Corner. A gift of love, if anything.
It is, really, from the heart, that one.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Right, one here from Enclive42. He says, still awake? Are we keeping you up? No, We're quite perky, thank you very much.
We're peaking, if anything.
Absolutely fantastic.
One email every 37 seconds.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
He says a couple of quotes that I quite like. Number one, it's not enough to succeed, but others must fail, from Gore Vidal. I thought that was Attila the Hun myself.
Yeah, sounds like it, doesn't it?
It's a nice game we play, isn't it? Yeah, it's exactly what we were saying earlier, N. Clive. And he says, poker is life, life is poker. Don't know who said that one. If no one wants it, can I keep it, please? Yes. That one, N. Clive, is all yours because you're very nice and you go on to say, P.S. Kara, well played. That is some improvement, gal. Compared with a couple of weeks ago, fantastic. And you know what? You ain't kidding there.
Absolutely. Slick Mick gets lucky against Gordy. Maybe it's Slick Mick's night. He's up to 6,000 chips. He caught the flush there. And probably shouldn't have played the ace-10 because Gordy raised out of first position. He hasn't been playing too many hands. And Slick Mick just came over the top of him when Gordy couldn't really put it down. He didn't have enough chips to put it down. So not a great move by Slick Mick, but it worked out as he hit the flush. Crisis point for B16. We saw him make that great pass earlier, but he's been in a horrible seat because Slick Mick's sitting to his left, and the seat you're in will have an outcome on your tournament, no doubt. Slick Mick's been re-raising him constantly, and he's got so many more chips, it's hard. B16 might play this, he does, and he's okay. He's going to get a split of the big blind and live to fight another day.
Not bad, not bad. In fact, it illustrates, as Andy sent an email in, this poker quote, which is by professional player Amir Vahedi.
This is one of my favourites.
It's good. In order to survive, you have to be willing to die. That's great, Andy. Thank you.
It's absolutely right. It sums up what we've been talking about all night, and I'm just going to make a note of it. You may see that in a poker magazine near you.
Fantastic. Yes, and another one here from Tom. Another great quote. Hello, Kara and Nick. Great and enlightening show as always. Thought I should give you my own poker quote. The Murphy's Law of Poker. Whenever there's a 50-50 chance you'll win the hand, there's a 90% chance you'll lose. Well, the maths don't work out, but I know exactly what you mean.
That sounds terribly glasses half empty to me. Did we get through the emails? We're getting there.
Nearly. We've got...
Well, we're going to have to watch the tournament soon.
I know, I know. Right, here's another one. There's from another one of our regular players, John, a.k.a. Buffy Be Good.
Unlucky B16. He goes out in 5th place. Played very well and made our play of the night, in fact, passing those queens when they were losing. But sadly for him, the cards didn't fall for him. And as I said, he had a seat to the right of the big stack. And that's not where you want to be. He does go away as a consolation prize with...
$80.
$80 for nothing, free roll.
That's very nice.
Well done, B16. Love to hear from you, mate, if you're watching poker@pokernightlive.co.uk about those queens. Very interested to know your logic and reasoning, because I think everybody at home will have been giving you maximum respect for that play.
As they
Loved
should.
it, didn't we, Kara?
Oh, total maximum respect.
You've got a total maximum respect from Kara Scott. Now, those are not given out lightly.
Oh, don't make fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you.
Okay. I just think that was amazing. And oh, boy. Oh, look at this. And the fours have it.
Well, he got lucky there, didn't he?
He was willing to die, and so he lived on.
He was, but can't like that play.
Well, yeah, like you say, sometimes it's not about the results. It's about what you're doing and your theories behind it. Poker Mart, don't know what you were thinking. It worked this time, it might not next time.
I guess he was trying to move Slick Mick off the hand, but the problem is that he didn't really have enough chips to do it, and Slick Mick hasn't really shown that he'll pass any hands. Slick Mick's been playing aggressive and playing a lot of hands, and you could argue as to how well Slick Mick's been playing. It's a tough call because he's playing aggressively, but at the same time he's not really... He's perhaps been playing too aggressively. But I'm not convinced that PokerMart had enough chips to make that play.
Okay.
But it worked out for him.
It did this time. But as we've said, you know, will it work out the next time and the next time and the next time? We don't play results. Yeah. And that brings me to the next email.
Oh, yeah, go.
All right, this is John, a.k.a. Buffy Be Good. Says, Dear Kara and Nick, again, Well played and very unlucky in the Beat the Presenter. If you hadn't lost nearly all of your chips so early, who knows what might have happened. Yes, I know. I am definitely going to have to look at my early game and where I'm hemorrhaging chips. I think you guys are all absolutely right there.
Yeah, they're right, but let's not get carried away with it. I don't think you're playing badly early on.
Just tweak it.
You're not making mistakes.
Right. Not massive ones, but I'm making mistakes in that I'm not capitalizing and taking down chips I should.
Whoa, easy, Tiger. You want to run before you can walk. You want the big prize before you've got the little prize. You know, you want to shoot for the stars before you've hit the roof. What I'm saying to you is, yeah, you could totally make some adjustments, but you're not. It's not like you're playing badly in the early stages, so don't get that idea.
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy,
only a 6 is going to save Slick Mick here.
No, he has the 6. He has the straight.
Oh gosh, I didn't even see that.
And Pokemon's going to pay him off.
Ouch.
That is a big ouch. Bust in 4th place.
Yeah. Did you see what was on the board there? Obviously, I didn't. But
it's to be honest with you, I wouldn't be harsh on Pokemart there because Slick Mick's been playing so aggressively, and it depends. It really depends if you want to be harsh or not. You could argue he can fold the aces there, but you could also argue that Slick Mick would make that play with Ace 8 the way he's been playing.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just a tough spot for Pokemart, I think.
Wow, and we're down to the final 3. Very exciting. And a pair of 9s, Arcane decides to go all in, wondering what Slick Mick will do with his King 9. But luckily for Slick Mick, he puts it down. Picked up a pair of his own there, though, against Father Ted's pair of 5s.
Well, Slick Mick has dominated this tournament, but as we know, that counts for not too much because, well, it's not winner takes all. They all get cash prizes and the cash prize greatest, but they're all really playing for the prize in the, which is the place in the grand final here at Poker Zone, and a shot at an $8,000 prize pool. So although he's played, he's had the cards and the fortune and some good play up to now, Slick Mick will want to convert. And he's not in that dominating a position because although he's got 3 times the other player's stacks, the blinds are only 1 and 200, and both the other players have got 10 times the big blind.
Yeah.
And we know how quickly things can change.
This is true.
Let's see if they do.
Let's see if they do. Let's have a little watch.
What a great show we've had tonight.
Oh, it's been so full. I am exhausted. Right, and sorry, back to the Buffy Be Good email and trying to get this out here. Just wanted to give... Oh, see, this is why I go back to it. It's all about me. Just wanted to give a little praise to Kara. It says...
All right, move on.
Yeah. Her play is definitely improved, and back to the old King 10 debate, if she hadn't been called, she would have been praised for making a good move. The blinds on the side increase quickly. At times, you have to be bold or you'll be blinded away.
Yeah, can I just say something? Oh, wait a minute, sorry, we've got to look at this.
Oh, boy.
This is going to be a decisive hand. Oh, and Slick Mick hits the 6. He really has been hitting the cards tonight.
He has.
And we're into the heads up, and he's in a dominating spot. Should we watch the... Oh, no, we've... got very little of the show left.
We do, very little.
Can I just say one final thing on this thing that we've been running with all night, which is not only your King 10 yesterday, but also the whole idea of how you should play and that kind of thing. I see a lot of poker answers and poker things starting with the words "it depends." You know, sometimes it does depend. A lot of time in poker, it does depend because it's a situational game, but not always. I actually think, I didn't see the hand. If the hand is how everyone's remembered it, the King 10 hand, I don't think it does depend. I think there's a right and a wrong answer there. And I think there's a right and a wrong answer to a decent amount of poker problems. And the right answer is that Kara should have moved all in, and she did. The wrong answer is to pass that hand, and more importantly, pass that opportunity. That's what we're talking about. So I just would like to say that sometimes in poker, and the Maker says there is a right answer.
All in.
We've gone all in, we could be all over. A heart needed for Father Ted or an 8 or a jack, and it doesn't come, and Slick Mick wins.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
He just totaled this table, didn't he? He totally steamrolled this table. It was almost too easy.
Oh, my goodness.
He couldn't miss, could he? He kept hitting and hitting and hitting.
You gotta like that when the cards fall your way.
Yeah, he won all the 50-50s he went in. Absolutely extraordinary. And, of course, the key hand for him, he made that straight against the aces, which gave him about 60-70% of the chips.
Yeah.
Slick Mick, we will be seeing you in the Poker Zone studio.
Amazing. Oh, that's going to be
I hope you're
exciting.
good looking. It's TV. You got it? No, I'm joking. We were seeing you in the studio. You've got a great experience ahead of you. You'll get to play live in the Poker Zone studio. We'll give you a good day, and you'll meet me.
Very exciting.
No, you'll get to play, and he will get to play for a shot at 8,000.
How fantastic is that?
And I'm not sure when, but look out for them, guys, because there's 6 more of those poker player free rolls to come.
Yes, there are, so keep your eyes open because you do not want to miss that. Like Slick Mick, you could be here in the studio.
Absolutely.
Very exciting stuff. Okay, well done. And finishing off on the email thing here. Gosh, we've just crammed so much into this last hour.
It's been awesome.
Right, here we go. This was the Buffy Be Good email that I've tried a couple of times to go through. Now I'm going to finish it. Right, he's going back to the whole King 10 debate. We'll move on quickly, I promise. There will be no more said about it. Right, he says... Oh, he also says, so I was a bit quiet in my support care during your game. I was playing an MTT at the same time, winning 1,600 for 5th place. Well done, John.
Well done.
Very nice. Despite perhaps not practicing what I preach quite well enough. I was definitely too passive at times, then made a couple of poor plays and eventually felt I had to go all in with 7-7 coming up against bullets. Ouch. In an ideal world, we would never get short stacked, but when the cards desert us and we make a laydown, when we have invested heavily into a pot, you can find yourself short and you have to play accordingly. Pushing with King 10 is not necessarily a bad play, although calling with it in your circumstances almost certainly would have been. Keep up the good work and tell that bloke next to you he's not doing such a bad job either. Sorry, Nick.
Why is he sorry?
All the best.
Lovely.
That bloke next to me. Thank you very much, John.
We just a quick thing to do, Cara, which is unfortunately, guys, we couldn't show the MTT.
Yeah.
Because we had too much going on tonight, but you'll get an MTT tomorrow night. But for those who missed their opportunity to succeed on TV, we apologise to you. It was won by Anfield James, who sounds like he must be a Liverpool fan, so he's all right by me. Anfield James won, Overbet King second, Carados third. Congratulations. Also, final table finishers, Russ, Ugly Cow, Skin Up, L Trev, Victoria James, Shamon MF, Shamon. And the organiser. Well done all. Yes, well done all. That's fantastic. And we are sorry we couldn't show it, but hopefully you will understand. There was just a heck of a lot to get through. So much going on. I'm spent. Are you? Yeah, so okay, now let's regroup here. What have we learned tonight? What do we take away from this? We've taken away the fact that Cara is always right. Yes. Well, Matt, I hope you're watching. We've seen a lot of different things, but it all comes down to... The main theme that we talked about tonight was going back to your hand yesterday, but also in a lot of hands we saw tonight, the value of aggression, the value of being the player asking the question, and how much equity that gives you in poker, how much more profitable that makes you. Remember, guys, if it's just down to the cards, then we'll all do the same. Right? Yeah. If we all played poker forever and it was just down to the cards, we would all end up doing the same. We'd all have hands which started off crappy and turned out fantastic, hands that started off fantastic and went wrong, and then we tell our friends about them and strangers about them down the card room. Why? But in the final analysis, we'd all break even. But that doesn't happen. Some players win millions at this game. Some players go broke at this game. Yeah. Good players beat bad poker players. And one of the fundamentals is the good players ask the question. Because at the heart of this game, there are 2 ways to win, Cara Scott. There are, in fact, 2 ways to win. Have the best hand or make other players throw away their hands. Those are the 2 ways to win. Hopefully you took that away. I'm definitely taking that away. So thank you very much for watching tonight. My head feels crammed full of poker knowledge. Thanks for all your emails. Fantastic response. We do really appreciate it. Yeah, we absolutely do. And I don't know when you're on next, but I'm back on Sunday. So I will be looking forward to seeing you all here again in the Poker Night Live studio. They'll probably have another show tomorrow night, won't they? Well, they might do, but we're not on. It's not going to be as good as this one. But you should watch it anyways. I'm sure it's full of value. Good night, everyone. See you next time. Have a good weekend.